Snow and freezing temperatures have caused disruption once again over most of the UK as two storms, Storm Emma and the Beast from the East, collided over Britain.
Good afternoon and welcome to sunny Sixway Stadium here in Worcester for this afternoon's games for BUCS National Finals weekend. I'm your host Matt Walker.
And I'm Rose Wilfords.
And we will be bringing you both games this afternoon from both the National Trophy Division 1 final and then the big one later on at 4 p.m. when the Premiership title is decided. So Rose, sunny day.
Yes.
Chilly, but sunny.
Yes, at least the weather has stayed dry.
Both teams are obviously currently warming up behind us for our first game. A little bit about that Premiership game to begin with then. So later on we've got at 4 o'clock we've got Derby, the Derby Braves, taking on the Durham Saints.
Yes.
Obviously Durham returning from last year's final.
Yes, and I mean they've done so well over the past few years. They've come from being in the quarterfinals to being in the final last year and just missing out to them being in the final again this year. I think it just shows what a great programme that they have. And obviously Derby, same sort of situation. You always expect them to be sort of good top tier teams, and I think this year it's going to be a really good game. And
if last year's Premiership final is anything to go by, where Stirling took on Durham, that was a pretty spectacular game and a high-scoring affair as well. And so we should be in for a real good matchup this afternoon.
Yeah, definitely, absolutely.
So before we worry too much about that one later on, we'll begin with our National Trophy final game, the Div 1, the Tier 1, if you like, game for the British Universities League. And that sees the University of Nottingham American football outfit take on the UWE Bullets in what should again be a very fairly highly contested contest.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you've got, coming into this, you've got Nottingham, who are always, you know, top of Div 1. You're sort of expecting them to get up into the Premiership. And then you've got UE, who are currently sat on 7-1, have only lost one game this season. I think both teams have done really great across this season so far. I mean, Nottingham, they haven't lost a game. They've got quarterback Patrick Davey, who played for Tamworth Phoenix. I think in his 3 past seasons, he's only lost one game. So that's saying something about them.
Absolutely.
And obviously UE, they've only lost one game this season. That was against Plymouth. But then on the second leg against Plymouth, they came back and they completely dominated. So I think it really shows that both these teams are really strong teams. And hopefully, again, it'll be a really good and close game.
Absolutely. Both teams have been here since very early this morning. And you can see behind us, final preparations are underway. We managed, as we always do, to catch up with both head coaches before the game. Very confident head coaches, and to begin with, I got the thoughts of the University of Nottingham head coach. So we're here with Coach Scott. Afternoon, Coach.
Afternoon. It's still morning though, isn't it?
Oh, well, we're going to send this out a little bit later, but anyway.
Afternoon. How are you? How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Congratulations on making it to finals day.
Thank you very much.
What has been your key to success this year with the University of Nottingham?
I think from the word go, we want to create a real team unity. A lot of people see the result on the field, the offense, defense, special teams, the touchdowns, the sacks, all that stuff. I think a lot of the work we do in classroom and on the practice field, socially, making sure that the team understand what we require from them. And I'm very fortunate we've got a really good coaching staff here. And they're really good at communicating and get that message across to the players. I think we're very clear about teamwork and the importance of teamwork. We want to rely on good communication and good teamwork rather than good luck. And I think our results have shown that. Where we have slipped up, it's because of a deficiency in communication. So again, we need to make sure we are outlining our goals for the day and we are making sure that our voices are heard despite all the hubbub and the chaos of a national championship game.
You mentioned obviously about the work that goes on in the background, and that's one thing, having been involved in coaching, people just don't see. Is there a particular trait you look for in players who play for you, regardless of the team you're coaching?
I think work ethic is a big thing for me, and I need to know that they care. I want football players, not people who play football. They need to live and breathe and understand the sport and watch tape and go to the gym. We do S&C sessions twice a week in the mornings at 5 o'clock in the morning, 6 o'clock in the morning. We need those guys who are dedicated to get there and put in that work ethic, because that's the part of the game that no one sees. Sure. So work ethic, accountability is big, making sure they're accountable for their actions and they're holding their teammates accountable as well. That's a big thing for me.
I think I know the answer to this question, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Are Nottingham built around a particular unit? Offense, special teams, defence?
No, I think we're very team. The machine falls apart without the smallest wheel being in place. I talk about offense, defense, special teams on the sideline. The guys who are on the training field week in, week out may not see a snap today. Their role in preparing the starters is as important as the guys who are throwing touchdowns, making tackles. So it's a real team ethos today, and I want to make sure that every single player on the roster understands their importance today. And that's a huge part for me.
So since you obviously didn't play a semi-final due to the conditions and one thing or another, but since finding out that you were going to be playing today, how's this last week been in terms of preparation?
It's just been another week of football for us. We don't really do anything different. We had an extra special teams meeting on Thursday, but the process stays the same. Classroom Tuesday, then on the field. Classroom Thursday, on the field. Then we had an extra walkthrough yesterday morning. The guys are focused, the guys are ready for it, and I think we just need to be professional about it and go about it the right way.
So UWE, this afternoon's opponents, know much about them? Done any special preparations for those guys?
No, I know they're a very good team. I know Coach Mar very well. He's a great coach, and they wouldn't be here if they weren't a very good football team. I've seen tape on them, and they've got some players who flash, and they've got some units that flash. It's a national final. The team you face, whoever, in whatever circumstance, is going to be the best team from the other side of the conference or the next best team in the country. So we need to make sure we're doing the small things right. If we do the small things right and lay those foundations, then we can go on and build on that.
And as an audience this afternoon, then what can we expect to see Nottingham bring to the field? You've spoken about all the preparations, anything that goes on behind the scenes. What are you looking for out there today?
I want to see commitment, I want to see people hustling to the ball, I want to see gang tackles, I want to see linemen getting downfield. I think the battle in the trenches is crucial for me. And those guys don't really get a lot of love and respect. And I think we've got, Coach Brittle on the O-line and Coach Gregory and Mazusi on the D-line. There are some really good coaches and guys who play for their coaches as well. I expect those D-line to do real well in the trenches, and the O-line hustling to that next level, that second and third level, laying crucial blocks.
Well, thank you ever so much for what I know is your valuable time today, and we wish you
pleasure.
all the best. All being well, if you get a chat with you afterwards, if it works out, but nevertheless, have a great afternoon.
Thank you. Thank you guys, all the best.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
I'm always interested to talk to these coaches before these big games, Rose, just because as a coach myself, to get the philosophy and to almost understand and pick what these guys are thinking. Coach spoke a lot there about not wanting people who play football, but actual football players, and that philosophy about understanding the game and actually putting everything into it.
Yeah, and I think that's an important thing for any team that wants to succeed. You want players that want to be there, you want players that want to play, and you want players that, they want to develop and they want to be the best that they can be at whatever level they're playing.
And with that in mind, we are lucky enough to be joined by three guests this afternoon, if we can just come into shot. We've got Andrew Morgan from the Birmingham Lions. Afternoon, Andrew. We've got Joe Walker there from American Football Development. Afternoon, Joe. And we've got Phil DeMont there from the OBU Panthers. Afternoon. Very well, thank you. Lovely day for this event. Obviously, we heard their coach, Scott, talk about the philosophy of what he looks for in a football player and the fact that the guys have got to love this game in order to get anything out of it. What your experience in the game, and obviously it's extensive among the three of you, is that a similar philosophy that you guys shared? Andrew first.
Absolutely. I think with the amount of time that they spend around the programs at these universities, having that buy-in to spend that amount of time in it and develop and progress is going to be is huge. And Coach Scott is one of the best guys in the country at being able to foster that kind of family feel in the team. So I can totally understand what he was saying on his interview.
Interesting as well, Joe, talking about preparations. I know every coach I speak to, and having coached myself, a big game like this, you might expect extra preparation to go in, but no, it's sort of what we do week in, week out, season in, season out. That's what we've done for this week.
Yeah, I think so. And having played under Jason Scott in his last year at Loughborough, he is that sort of person as a coach. He wants to just do things the way you've been doing all season, practice the way you've been practicing all season, and go about things in the professional manner that you have been doing all year. And I think that's what he'll continue to do, and will have continued to do up until this game. He'll be looking for some interesting things happening today, definitely.
And from your perspective, Phil, obviously the British University League in this country is up and coming and almost taking over a little bit from other forms of the game. How do you see this one going this afternoon?
I see this is going to be a great game. It's going to be experience against experience. Both head coaches have the mindset that no one else has. But I quite honestly think that I'm going to put this in Nottingham's court, because I think Jason Scott has, to go to the States and coach, being on the sideline in Mississippi, you got to have something special. And coaching in 2 championships. Remember, he won the championship with Tamworth this season. Getting 2 teams to a championship is quite an achievement. So I think it's going to be in Nottingham's court today.
So we've heard that a bit in favour of Nottingham. You know the UWE guys pretty well. What would your sort of opposition be to that? From obviously we know Coach Scott's pedigree out in the States. What are UWE and?
Well, the thing is, I know that
mic
Coach Mayer and all the guys
Pass
there,
him your mic, Matt.
they link up very closely with them. Oh, it's my mic not working. They link up very closely with the University of Laverne and Coach Wurzel and his philosophy and stuff. So it's kind of like matching that kind of thing. And I think the big thing is going to be how they can go toe to toe with the Nottingham offense. They need to come out firing. They need to take their chances because Nottingham have got a lot of weapons on offense and they could run away with the game potentially.
So Joe, obviously American football development. Yeah, how do you see? We'll go away from this game a little bit because the teams are making their final preparations, which is waiting to be announced here for the national anthems and the coin toss. From an American football perspective in this country in general, whether it's the community leagues, whether it's the university leagues, whether it's junior stuff, how are things at the moment? How obviously we know the NFL is looking to continue their, if you like, their export of their game. How are we keeping up with that? What are we doing?
Yeah, I think the growth and development of the sport is going well. There's some areas that I'm concerned about with regards growth too fast maybe, and the number of coaches that we've currently got in the country is quite a challenge that's going on. I mean, if I was to talk about what we do, I mean we've got lots of stuff happening in high school football. We've currently started 5 high school teams across the southeast in the UK, and that's going really, really nicely for us. What I'm worried about is the fact that we've got 163 head coaching jobs in the UK, and I doubt we could name 163 people who are qualified enough to be head coaches. That's just at the men's and university level, and there's obviously still a lot of other football going on around the country. It's great to see participation growing, it's great to see the number of people playing the sport growing, but I want to make sure that growth is sustainable and making sure that we're going to be able to keep it up for a long time, and I think that's important.
And it strikes me, obviously, Phil, from an NFL perspective, the NFL are interested in the NFL. They're not really interested from what I can see in the British game per se. I mean, I was lucky enough a few years back to be able to put a question to Commissioner Goodell, and he spoke about the fact that he felt there were programs that the NFL were backing to grow the game in this. But it was a little bit of a corporate answer, if I'm honest.
Well, Jacksonville Jaguars have their camps, and those are sold out. So that's what the NFL is doing here. My real concern here is actually the level of commitment from some of the teams in the country. Are you a competitive team or you're a recreational team?
Sure.
And I think they should start really distinguishing those 2 types of teams. But the NFL is trying. They're spreading the word. It's not easy. You're going against rugby. You're going against soccer. You take a country like Austria, for example. What do they have? Is really Formula One is probably the top sport, then followed by American football.
Okay.
I think one of the big issues that we've got is whether or not the stuff in schools is happening effectively. And I know that the NFL are working with Subway at the moment to do a big rollout, and the people at Birmingham especially are working with them. And what we'd like to see is more programs such as the Bristol Academy with their set up below what they're doing, because that really is growing the sport in a sustainable manner throughout. And I think that's possibly what we need to be trying to do with the NFL.
And I think definitely in terms of the youthful players that we have in the country, I mean, you've got Aaron Mahoney-Jones, who's gone off to America to study at a college and is playing football over there. I mean, you've got players like him and Alex Jenkins who started at Bristol. There is definitely the opportunity for players to reach the NFL, but I don't think in terms of the level that we would like, I don't think the NFL is quite there yet.
My mic isn't working. No, there we go. And that's the thing. I think what this country needs in a broad sense is a little bit more structure, which I hope is going to be coming in the next few months, because you look at pockets of teams around the country, you may have like 4 or 5 teams within 20-mile radius, and that vision of dilution of players and coaches, if there's not enough to go around, it just brings the quality down. You look at London, you look at Bristol, you look at what's going on at Leeds with their academies. There is a structure in place that works, that creates good teams, good players, good structures, and it needs to be followed more across the country more often. Birmingham Lions as well with their structure. That needs to be the vision that's repeated and followed on.
So, with that in mind, let's get back to today's game as we see the Bullets taking the field. You mentioned about Nottingham's offence and you mentioned about their quarterback. What specifically then do the Bullets need to do in order to almost put a stop or at least to stifle the quarterback's production today?
I think it's interesting whenever you come up against an offense which is quite potent and quite explosive, you want to rush the passer a lot. I think the New York Giants did it so well against the Patriots a few years ago. The Philadelphia Eagles did it this year. You get in their face and you put pressure on, they're making quick decisions. They may be making mistakes. You sit back in coverage, you play it safe, and you play it quite vanilla. They might be able to pick you apart. So I'd like to see Uwe really come out the gates and really put the pressure on Nottingham's offense.
It's all about the disruption of the offense. If the offense cannot execute correctly, right? That's what the defense purpose is to disrupt the execution. If they don't execute, they're not going to be able to move the football. It's that simple.
For me, watching the game at Kent last week, UWE Kent was quite interesting. A good, strong Kent team, headed by a first-year head coach in Russell Jordan, did really, really well in their season, going 8-0, going unbeaten. They faced against a UWE team who came out and murdered them. You know, with the run game particularly, they really, really did a lot to sort of disrupt that Kent defence. And if they put together that sort of run game again today, there might be some interesting stuff going on that field. I honestly, one of the best match games I think we're going to see at Div 1 level ever. This UWE team is set to potentially win a lot of games in the Premiership next year. They have got some, I think they've got 5 or 6 talented Bristol Pride kids coming over, and even Thomas Campbell, who's coming down from Stirling, is going to be playing there next year. They're losing 2 players. They are going to be very, very strong.
And I think, like you say, from a university level and also from a junior level, it's not like you're keeping players for a long period of time. The turnover, and you've almost got a different team each and every year in a way. The dynamics change so much. Talking to the UWE coach, he mentioned he thinks his oldest player this afternoon is 23. So therefore, how is that experience going to be a factor this afternoon?
I think it's going to be huge, but I think what is also a factor is the 4 teams we're going to see today have really benefited from their scholarships. They are really kind of showing us what you can do at the university level to push the game further and increase the quality. Both of these teams will be competing for their Premiership North and South titles next year with the players that they're retaining and the experience they've had playing at other places, whether it's in Europe, whether it's college in America. It's huge, and that's just going to benefit the sport in the long run.
I think it's a huge factor that universities really, they put into the teams, because you can see you've got the 4 teams, 4 scholarship teams. They're getting put in from the university is investing in those teams, and they're getting the results out of it. And
you see that especially not just in the scholarships of some teams. Nottingham paid their head coach a lot of money this year to be their head coach, and that is a big thing that this sport needs. Is if we get him paid coaching, that means professionalised coaching, and that means that there's going to be a higher quality of coaching in the UK, which is fantastic.
Yeah, but you want to see kids actually starting the 10 university with 3-4 years experience playing youth and junior underneath, and that will make your program stronger as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely. So we can see both teams are on the sidelines now making final preparations. We like to do this at the beginning of each game, put you guys on the spot a little bit. I know, Phil, you mentioned about you were in Nottingham's corner. Okay, score prediction, is it we're going to have a high score, or are we going to be
35-23?
35-23 Nottingham. Joe?
I think just to balance it out, I'll go UWE, especially if they can get their run game going, and we never know what they're going to do. They've got a very strong defence. I'm not going to give you a score, but I think it'll be UWE by 4.
Okay,
UWE by
4. Okay. And finally, Andrew.
Joe Walker sitting on the fence again.
Always on the fence.
Always on the fence. I'm going to go Nottingham by 2 scores.
Nottingham by 2 scores. Nottingham by 2 scores. Okay. So, obviously, Rose, thank you very much, gentlemen. We'll come back to you shortly. Obviously, we can hear national anthems back in the background. Obviously, I guess really excited about this afternoon's matchups.
Yes.
As I think we are with the weather set fair and
yes,
two, like you say, 2 out of the 4 scholarship teams we'll see this afternoon.
Yeah.
What are you looking forward to most?
I think just, both offences coming out onto the field and dominating their game. I mean, you've got the quarterback from Tamworth Phoenix, who's the national champion winning quarterback, who hasn't lost, he's lost 1 game in the past 3 seasons that he's been playing. I think he's going to absolutely lead the team, and hopefully it would be good to see UWE do the exact same. I think if we can get both teams, both offences having really strong games, and hopefully, keeping the pressure on with both defences, I think it would be really close.
Absolutely. Well, this is very much the aperitif to the national title game, which kicks off at 4 o'clock between Derby and Durham. Durham, but we've no doubt that this is going to be a spectacle and a fantastic warm-up game. So as we see the teams approaching the coin toss, we will bid you farewell, and we will catch up with you after the coin toss.
I'm Mark Brunell. I'm the quarterback coach here at the Academy. Having a great time. It's been an absolute thrill. Their energy, their passion for the game has been impressive, actually surprising.
The coaches here are really incredible. Like, they're really smart. You know what you're talking about. Like, you think you got everything right, and they'll pick out something that's wrong, and you think, I didn't see that there, but they have the eye for it because they've been there, done it before, and it's really amazing to be part of that.
Coaches are really accommodating, really knowledgeable as well, really good at helping people to get to where they want to.
Yeah, we're seeing some improvement. We're seeing a lot of engagement, a lot of excitement about the game here, and we're really thrilled about the reception we've received.
You're live, go. So, here we go, having rushed up from the side of the pitch. I'd like to welcome you to the commentary booth. Matt Walker once again here with my ever-willing co-commentator. Good afternoon, George Lees.
Afternoon. I wouldn't say so willing. I think you just you dragged me down here to Worcester and away we go.
To be fair, my friend, you drove.
I did.
So there we go. Yeah. So obviously interesting conversations down there on the sidelines with Joe, Andrew and Phil, and obviously Rose. Looks like being a good one, this.
Yeah, it should be an interesting game. I mean, UWE were a little bit of a surprise, really, coming off a victory over the 10-0 Falcons last week, which I think shocked everybody that's been following this Division 1 this year. University of Nottingham, not so much. I think they were favourites from the get-go. Unlucky not to be in this situation last year with a loss in the playoffs. So.
Indeed, and we mentioned about quarterback for Nottingham, Pat Daly, who we commentated on in the national final for Tamworth last year, and he was pretty spectacular.
Yeah, he's a key player, and he will be a key player today, no doubt. He's got experience at this level, in this stadium in particular, and I still recall that run of the year, spinning and diving about and darting and getting into the end zone.
So here we go with the initial kickoff by Joe Beams there, and unfortunately that one appears to have gone out of bounds straight away, so not the best start on special teams for the University of Nottingham.
Yeah, a bit of a squib there. I don't think he was quite expecting. We watched him do some kick practice before kickoff, but perhaps it just got the better of him on that surface there.
So the UWE offense will take the field for the first time. Quarterback Ryan
procedure,
Batt.
Free kick out of bounds on the kicking team. UE have elected to take it 30 yards from the kick. First down.
Never like to speak over our officiating crew this afternoon, but as I was saying, quarterback Ryan Batt will take the field for the Bullets. And they will start first down from their own 35-yard line, so good opening field position for the Bullets.
Yeah, Ryan's been with the team for a little while. This is his second year. Former Cornish Shark youth as well, so got some experience from the very early beginnings.
Chris Wright in motion. The ball goes to Wright, and Wright takes it on a jet sweep and initially picks up 3, maybe 4 yards. Oh, sorry, 1 yard rather. on first down. So intention coming out the back, trying to, a little bit of misdirection there.
Yeah, University of Nottingham will be well prepped for this game. Well known to be solid in defence, one of the best in the division.
Interesting, no huddle, and 3 receivers to the right this time, and Bat looks to his left and overthrows the intended receiver, number 86. And that was intended just through too far out of bounds on that one. So 3rd and 9 on the Bullets opening possession. Bat again with 3 receivers to his right, 1 to his left, and back alongside him out of the pistol formation. Can he convert on a big 3rd and 9 for a very inexperienced? Oh, and that looks like some movement up front.
It's going to put a 5-yard back.
False start against the offense, number 5-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
Obviously, as you heard there, a little bit of an issue with the referee's mic. Didn't quite get the number of that one. But nevertheless, it is a 5-yard penalty and march the UWE offense back. So 3rd and 14 upcoming.
By the way he stood up, I suspect it was the running back in the backfield that just got caught out there by a movement off the edge.
Sorry, George. 3rd and 14, 2 receivers left, 1 to the right, back alongside Bat. You would think this is a passing down, depending on their intentions, or whether they just maybe try and run, get a bit of field possession. No, they look to pass, they go to the left, and it's almost intercepted, battered down by number 25 for Nottingham, Leo Corney. And a successful opening series for that University of Nottingham defence. So, punter comes on, number 31 to punt, Edward Carter. And back deep to receive for Nottingham will be Derek Knott, waiting at around his 25-yard line. Not the best snap, and he just manages to get the kick away. And Knott lets this one bounce, and it takes a UWE bounce all the way down to the 30, and it's down at the 29 by Chris Wright. There is a flag on the field, though, interestingly, back near the punter. It looks like it's going to be against Nottingham.
Just have a look.
Personal foul, roughing the kicker, defense number 8. 15-yard penalty, automatic, 1st down.
And that's a big one, George.
Yeah, ill discipline there. Just getting a little bit eager. In fact, looking at that replay, it was actually two guys that clipped the punter on the way through.
Called on number 8, Eric Anthony. And when you think you've got off the field with a 3 and out, the defense has to remain. It breathes a little bit of life into the Bullets offense. So 1st down UWE, close to midfield. Their own 46-yard line. Bat again in the pistol formation. Sort of a deep pistol, almost shotgun if you like. Motion man again. This time the ball is handed off up the middle. It's a nice solid gain on 1st down.
Yeah, it looked like Pierce Tanti with the tackle there.
It'll bring up 2nd and 6 after that initial 4-yard pickup. No huddle again. Nice high speed offense. Same play. That's Keith Strickrock that time. Sorry, Veith Strickrock, number 23. Once again, no huddle. 3rd and 5 after a gain of 1 on 2nd down. Real trying to get. Oh, there's a jump there, is there? And there's a flag everywhere. Now, will that be encroachment? Will that be false start? Let's see what the officials.
I would think that would be encroachment, neutral zone.
Did look like from where we were standing that defensive lineman, number 93 for Nottingham,
Robert Caldwell,
jumped into that neutral zone. Let's have a listen.
Offside, entering the neutral zone, causing an offensive player to false start against the defense 9. 5-yard penalty results in a 1st down.
So on a 3rd down play just there, but initially on the 4th down, 2 big penalties gift the Bullets 1st down and good field position now inside the Nottingham half of the field.
Yeah, just ill discipline there from the Nottingham defence.
trips to the right, back to pass. He looks left again. He's got a man down the seam, and it's all through his fingers.
And it's a great bat down there. Number 25 again, Leo Corney making a play.
Number 88, the intended receiver there for the Bullets.
Corney just getting an arm across there to bat that ball down.
So, 2nd and 10. 2nd and 10, UWE. Oh, big sack, number 18.
Yeah, that was Jack Casey coming off the edge there.
And while Bat was looking to his left, Casey came in from the Nottingham left and laid a fierce hit. So this no-huddle offense, not really allowing us time for replays here in the booth, but that's no problem.
Well, the best way to stuff no huddle is put pressure on it.
Which proved there, so 3rd and 16 this time. Back to pass again, and pressure up the middle this time.
It was number 90 there for Nottingham that came through first, Emmanuel Okolo.
And he was the first of 3 Nottingham defenders to get to the quarterback that time.
Looks like one Nottingham defender is down, but he is very slow to get up. Number 36, getting back to his feet.
As you rightly said, George, with a no-huddle offense, always another man gone down late at the end of that play. With a no-huddle offense, the best way to counteract that is by bringing the heat.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's number 36 for Nottingham down there.
So, what hectic start to this one.
Yeah. I mean, they clearly thought that the no-huddle was going to work for them. Keep Nottingham's defence on the back foot all the time, but Nottingham decided, nope, not having that. And bang, straight through, 2 sacks, one after one.
Which will bring up 4th down again. 4th down and 25 at least there, looking at the field position. It says 18 on our screen, but I think it's a little further than that.
Oh, and it's a bad snap.
And the punt is up, and number 31 just has to eat that. Edward Carter, punter, and what a change in possession.
It was Will Trickex coming off the edge, chasing down that poor fumble.
So that is a real high snap that goes over Carter's head, and he has no chance other than to drop on it and ensure that Nottingham don't run that one back in.
Yeah, Nottingham going to start with great field position on the Bullets 15-yard line.
And 3 minutes ago, George, UWE were inside Nottingham territory with a first down.
Well, just crossed the border. So Nottingham said, no, it's our house today.
So here's that man we mentioned about at the top of the show, Pat Daly, number 7, quarterback for the University of Nottingham. He has 2 receivers to the left, 2 to the right. Little stack formation there on the outside. One running back to his left. Low snap, but he looks to his right. And he tries to hit the fade, and it just drops short. Intended for number 13. That's Elijah Duran.
Yeah, I don't think Duran quite expected to be receiving that. And dove to the ground.
You can see though on that particular play, the snap was initially a little low, and Daly did well to handle it. He saw he got one-on-one coverage on the outside and kind of underthrew him a little. Maybe going for that back shoulder throw to make sure the DB couldn't make a break on it. But anyway, 2nd and 10. Same formation. 2 receivers split either side. This time Daly keeps the ball, looks to his left, but that's outside contain. Very nicely done.
Yeah, 56 for the Bullets, keeping that containment. Charlie Dring.
First man there, but there were 2 other Bullets there ready to make that tackle. Should Dring have been eluded.
Yeah, the defense read that really well.
So we mentioned down in pre-game about this high-octane Nottingham offense, particularly with Daly. We know he can run from looking at the Tamworth National Championship crusade end of last season, so we know he's got the ability to run, but also we know he's got an arm as well.
Yeah, UON basketball player as well, so we're in the past, so very athletic guy.
Daly this time hands the ball up the middle. It's number 29 with the carry. And Wellington T gets a few back. It will bring up 4th down. It'll be 4th and 5. So pick up with maybe 6 on that one after the loss on 2nd down.
Looks like they're going to go for it. We did see them practicing some long-distance field goals earlier on.
And now that special teams unit does seem to take the field as Daly and the offense trot off. So, 4th down upcoming. Oh, interesting formation. A little bit of trickery here. We did say to Coach Scott at the beginning of the game, what can we expect to see now? Oh, and after a little bit of trickery, it's the Bullets that take a timeout. A little worried about that formation and what might be coming. Interesting.
Timeout. UE, that's their first of the half.
I suppose if you think back to the Super Bowl and you think back to that Eagles play where Nick Foles caught that touchdown, it's the final, it's the last game of your season. Why not pull out all the stops and brawl some trickery out?
I mean, this isn't a new thing that the University of Nottingham are doing. They do run it during the regular season. I've seen it once or twice myself, having gone down to a few of their games. Often if the defense lines up in the right way, they'll shift back into field goal formation. So see what they bring out. Be looking to have a cheeky screen to Duran.
So here we go again, 4th down. This time that
it's Derek Knott, actually, the screen receiver.
It is, and we've got James Revel, who's the receiver, taking the snap, playing quarterback at this point.
And there's that shift into that field goal formation. So
a little bit of trickery, but always good to keep the defense guessing. Joe Beams now on to attempt this field goal. The snap is back, low kick, and it is no good. Not sure if that brushed a UWE hand.
It did clip a UWE hand on the way through. They'll be disappointed not to get anything off that.
So here we go. We can see that initial formation, just checking out what the defense are offering. Not happy with what they saw, so they motion back into that regular field goal formation. Let's see if we can see who managed to get a hand on that. That's Carter's obviously... Sorry, Joe Beams now. He had a couple of kicks. Oh, yeah, didn't quite catch that. Joe Beams, not a great kickoff initially where it went out of bounds, and then a little bit inauspicious on that field goal attempt as well. So the score remains 0-0. And back onto the field comes Ryan Batt and that Bullet offense. Ball this time handled at the middle, and he's met immediately. That defensive front of Nottingham really asserting their dominance early on.
Absolutely crucified there. He was just left out to dry, hung out to dry.
Emmanuel Okolo with the tackle. But I think the initial pressure may well have been from 99. Yes, scoots straight up the middle from his defensive tackle position to apply that pressure. 2nd down, Bullets. Similar play.
A wonderful tackle there, 52 for Nottingham in the backfield.
Veith Strickrock with the carry. So
yeah, Buck Walter just going straight through that line, making the tackle.
So
and down he goes.
3rd and 10. And at the moment, definitely the Nottingham defence having its way with that UWE young, experienced offence that we heard about earlier on. 3rd and 10. 2 receivers out to the left, 1 to the short side right. 1 running back. And Batt looks to pass this time, but again he's swallowed up.
Yeah, Colo there again with the initial contact and finished off by number 99, Troy Glenn. Why run a play action in that situation? What are you gaining?
Well,
I certainly wouldn't.
and with, unfortunately, with the pressure that Nottingham defensive front is putting up, you know, it's difficult. All the pressure's coming up the middle at the moment. Obviously, on that initial play, the very first play of the game, they ran that jet sweep, and the jet sweep maybe picked up a couple. But you're thinking you don't want to be keeping. Oh, and there's another flag on UWE, and these nerves of these youngsters may beginning to have an impact. But like I was saying, at the moment it's the defensive line particularly, and it seems to be all coming up the middle from the tackles.
From my perspective, I think as a coach, as you know, I would be looking to get some quick passes just straight out. The defensive backs are lined a little ways off.
Illegal procedure, signals by the defence, 5-yard penalty, still 4th down.
Oh, so that's actually called on Nottingham. I think trying to convince the officials that the UWE offence had moved, so trying to influence the officials, I think is that the nature of that call.
A little bit of an odd one there. They don't see it very often.
So it's still 4th down. The kick is up. It's sliced off his foot a little bit, and people. That's hit a. And I think that looks like it has been recovered initially by the Bullets, but it's difficult to tell at the bottom of that pile. So that punt that time by Ed Carter, which sort of sliced off his foot, may well have worked out. And indeed, the officials are signalling that has been recovered by the Bullets. See if we can... Indeed, our referee for the afternoon has signalled Bullets first down. And I think you're right now, George. I think with this field position, those quick passes, you've got to take that D-line out of the game. Quick passes, maybe a swing pass out to the flank.
Yeah, you've got a couple big guys. Well, I say big guys, but they've got some speed on them as well. So they are just pushing straight through that offensive line, which is offering little to no protection at the moment. So we'll see if they make any adjustments here.
So first down, 2 receivers either side again for Bat. This time a little play action. There is a quick ball, and it's caught and held on to really well by William Hatfield, tight end for the Bullets.
And there you go. No play actions or anything. Looking on that little underneath route.
And there you go, that's a positive play on first down. 6-yard gain, makes it manageable 2nd and 4 and opens up your playbook.
You see by how far on those linebackers' read steps, how the defense is playing. It's a very aggressive style with a zone coverage underneath. But
Bat again, drops back to pass. He looks left, and now that ball goes to the left. He's overthrown his intended receiver. That was Hatfield again.
Yeah, it didn't come out very well. You saw the wobble there.
And I must say, as much as it is sunny here today, it's not a significant breeze, but there is a breeze down there on the field.
There's a little chill in the air, I think.
There's a definite chill.
I think it's a term that is.
To say we are in day 1 of British summertime. The sun is out, but there is still very, very chilly. So 3rd and 4. You'd think quick pass again. He has got a man and he hits it.
Oh, and he's dropped it, and it's number 15 with that drop, Max Bendel. And that really should have been a catch.
What am I going to say about that?
Got to watch it in with your eyes.
Catch the ball with your eyes first. You could see he sort of looked that ball in and then took his eye off it at the last minute to see where that defender was. And interestingly, well, I suppose interestingly, from the 40-yard line of the University of Nottingham, the Bullets elect to go for this on 4th down. Pressure again, it's the same play, and that's
another one. There is going to be a flag, and it's going to be roughing the passer. And actually, number 5, Ryan Batt, does not look overly well getting up.
He got absolutely flattened, and it's coming from, I think it was the fact that it was a low tackle as well, just out of the shot of our replay.
There is no flag on the play. There is no flag on the play.
Yeah, looking back at that replay, they both tacklers were already airborne before the ball was released, and that's why they've waved that flag off. Although Batt took a huge hit.
And took one quite low down as well.
Yeah,
I think the defender was coming in and just caught him just below the knee, which is always a worry.
Up and down, high and low.
Yeah. So, still 0-0 here in this Division 1 trophy game, in a really fast Division 1 trophy game here between the University of Nottingham American football and the UWE Bullets.
2/3 of the way through the first quarter already.
So Nottingham will retake the field. Daly again in the pistol formation with 2 receivers and a running back in there, and the ball is handed off, and that's a great positive gain on first down. That's Wellington T with the carry.
Yeah, and that's the difference that we've seen so far. I know this is only UON's 2nd offensive drive, but their offensive line seems to stack up much, much better against the Bullets' defensive style.
And Nottingham not hanging around either with their own no huddle. As T again looks left, then bounces to the outside and is met by 3 Bullets.
Yeah, that was very, very good containment there. Just breaking down before that hit, and that's exactly what you need. Now, one of the Bullets players is down.
Sorry, George. All Hatchie there, number 92, one of the men to make that tackle. But that does look like a bit of a worry there. Medics running on and immediately calling for some extra help.
It looks like it may be Scott Bendel that's down, number 26 for the Bullets, but the officials immediately called for medics, which is usually not a positive sign. And looking at where they look, or having a feel without
examining,
it looks like it may be a knee injury.
Although he hasn't moved at all. You'd sometimes suspect that with a lower limb injury, it may well be. Yeah, but like you say, that left leg is sort of on the ground and hasn't moved one little bit. So we do wish the Bullets player there. We'll obviously get you a name when we can confirm actually who it is. It's been difficult for us to get a number at the moment. But a lightning start this game from both teams. Both teams utilising that no huddle offence.
Yeah, just trying to keep defences on toes. I think really, from what we've seen, although they got that tackle there in the backfield, the Bullets looking like a less aggressive defence with that too high safety situation.
And unfortunately, we see the stretcher wheeled out as well. So this well, obviously is the end of this young man's game today, and we wish him all the best that it's not too severe an injury. So this break in play, we'd like to obviously just mention that today's stream is made possible thanks to the ongoing support of Joe and his team at epsports.co.uk. EP Sports stocks the largest range of American football kit and equipment in the UK and have a staff made up of ballers who have played the sport at the highest levels in Europe. So when they're talking to you about kit or offering advice, they really know what they're talking about. So if you're looking to upgrade your gear ahead of the summer seasons, check out epsports.co.uk and use the discount code UAGloves15 to receive a 15% discount on all Under Armour gloves. As always here with Onside Productions, you can get in touch with us. We'd love to hear from you. Use the hashtag UniBowl. Let us know where you're watching from, who you're supporting. Any tidbits of information you may well have on either of these two teams, University of Nottingham American Football or the UWE Bullets, that we may find interesting up here in the commentary booth. Obviously later on for that Durham Saints Derby Braves Premiership final. As well as EP Sports, I want to give thanks to the British American Football Association for their continued support and hosting of this game as well. And remember, both this game and all through the upcoming summer seasons, you can stay up to date with all the scores across the Britball nation with ScoreStream. ScoreStream is the worldwide leader in coverage of American football, from youth through professional across the globe. ScoreStream allows fans to score games, post photos and videos, and chat with other fans all in real time. And each week, ScoreStream covers roughly 10,000 games across the planet. So make sure you check out scorestream.com or download the app to stay up to speed with scores from right across the Britball nation.
That's a lot of games.
That's a lot of games.
That's a lot of
10,000 games. But I know from your perspective, from a junior perspective, you guys have utilised that ScoreStream app, and
yeah,
it's
been a useful tool.
So just while we're seeing this young man continue to receive this medical attention, a little bit about the UWE Bullets. They had a College Bowl 21 title in 2007, numerous division crowns. The UWE Bullets are one of UWE's most successful sports teams. This is their third year now under head coach Dan Mayer, taking over from Matthew Dyke. And this brings the Bullets a great affiliation with the Filton Pride Academy, one of the most highly rated youth American football programs in the UK. And it looks like a shoulder injury actually, George, from where we are. Obviously got his shoulder there strapped up. Is that maybe not actually, no. But it is number 26, so we can confirm it. We were correct, it was Scott Bendall, the injured player.
I think looking at it, it is
a leg.
It is a leg injury.
So we wish Scott all the very best, and he's obviously going to be receiving the best medical care possible. So let's rejoin the game with 4:07 left in the first quarter, still 0-0. Pat Daly in the Nottingham offence, retake the field. Twins both sides. Daly rolls to his left, and he puts the ball up, and it is tipped. And a great defensive play there by Jacob Spindler.
Yeah, it was number 13 there, Elijah Durant, that Daly was looking for and very nearly caught it off that tip.
Got to say, I know it's difficult because Daly was rolling to his left, and there is a flag down which we'll get notification of shortly. It looks like it's going against the offence.
Holding, 68 on the offence. That penalty is declined. For the play, 4th down.
Tristan O'Keefe called for that hold, so that will bring up 4th down. And as I was saying, I know Daly was rolling to his left, which for a right-handed quarterback isn't where you want to be throwing the ball, but that's a couple of passes now we've seen underthrown.
Yeah, I mean it was a difficult throw, and but he threw to the sideline. He knew where the safe spot was to throw to in that situation. So.
Now, look at the confidence the University of Nottingham have in their defence initially, but also their offence as Daly takes off, and he's got a seam up the middle, and he does rush for a 1st down and more. Picks up close to 15 yards into bullet territory for a Nottingham 1st down.
Yeah, monster gain on a 4th down attempt.
But as I was saying, here's a replay of that. You can see Daly already looking at those linebackers. He knows where he's going. He knows it's a sort of QB keeper. And immediately, when that ball goes, he sees his linemen pulling, which create that seam, and he gets a good pickup. When we know he's dangerous as a ball carrier as well as a passer.
Yeah, once he gets into open space or even in confined areas, he can make things happen with his feet.
I'll try for a 3rd time though. Obviously, immense confidence there in the Nottingham defence to go for it on 4th down inside their own half this early on in the game. As the ball is handed off, and another nice seam, and number 22 breaks it. So yes, Alex Sowerbury breaks one, and that's another good gain on 1st down, which puts the University of Nottingham offence inside the red zone for the 1st time today. First down, University of Nottingham American football. On the 15-yard line of the Bullets. Daly with 2 receivers to his left, 1 to his right. And he looks like he's taking off. It looks like an option play, but he decides to keep the ball, steps one way, tries to break it outside, and UWE, led by Rupert Mevins, stack that one up.
Yeah, containment initially broke down, but the defensive backs got down just to swarm and slow Daly down.
So Daly did have the option of Derek not there on the option you can see there. He elected to keep it, and it looked like he may well pick up some yardage, but then good swarming defence from that Bullets.
Fish was actually a little slow there, maybe to blow the whistle in that situation. But
2nd and 5 now, as Knott comes in motion. Ball is handed off to Sowerby again, and he misses, he eludes one tackle. Picks up positive yardage to bring up 3rd and short.
Yeah, managed to stay on his feet through that 1st tackle.
Here it goes. Nice, very nonchalant handoff there from Daly. Yeah, very well slipped out of the tackle of Lucas Spindler, linebacker for the Bullets, which will bring up 3rd and short inside the 10-yard line. Some bold score predictions before the game. High-scoring score prediction from Phil DeMont rather. And the other 2 guys a little on the fence with their actual scores. Phil DeMonte obviously with a high-scoring prediction as Knott takes the ball in a jet sweep round the left-hand side and waltzes in for the opening score of the afternoon.
Completely untouched. And the Bullets had nothing outside there to stop him. Receivers blocked absolutely marvelously.
No, the discussion,
can't get that word out.
We are looking, there is a... No, it looks like the touchdown has been awarded. It has.
Yeah, the receiver blocking there was fantastic on that play.
Here we go.
The score counts after the play was over. Unsportsmanlike conduct. Conduct foul.
So, to me, it didn't look like the Bullets really reacted to the snap that time, and although looked like he was going at a fair rate of knots, actually seemed to
the foul will be
way.
enforced on the ensuing kickoff.
Seemed to saunter his way around the left end, untouched for that opening Nottingham score.
We're a long way from C, you know.
So, here we go again with a unconventional formation. That similar one that we saw on the field goal attempt. James Revel at quarterback, Knott, and then they side once again.
Yeah, clearly the Bullets know what's coming in that situation, so they've designed something to stop it in the attempt to push them back into this.
So, can Joe Beams be successful this time? The chip shot's up, and it is through the uprights and good. which extends the University of Nottingham's lead to 7-0. Nice little chip shot that time. Good snap, good hold, and Beams converts for the first time this afternoon.
Yeah, we've got around about a minute left to go in the first quarter. Score is 7-0. So perhaps not the thrashing that was expected.
Not at the moment. You wonder at this pace, though, particularly with a no-huddle offence on both sides, players will tire. Having said that, both teams have large squads, so that's when your depth becomes really important. I know I was chatting to Coach Brittle before the game, and he mentioned about Robert Stone, number 75 for the University of Nottingham, club captain, but been a very experienced member of the team. And he did mention about the fact that as much as being the leader that he is, the depth that the University of Nottingham have on that O-line would mean that they'd be able to rotate and try and keep people fresh. So Beams back to kick again. Better kick off this time. Nice high kick, sailing into the arms of Chris Wright. Chris Wright brings that ball round to his right-hand side, and he's tackled after a lateral run by Pierce Rapanti.
Yeah, it was a long... They're always going to get decent field position off that, kicking off your own 20. But that comes down to all discipline off after the play before.
But equally, good field coverage, good kick coverage there by the University of Nottingham, staying disciplined in their lanes as well, not giving right there an opportunity to find a seam.
The Bullets will look to start on their own 40.
So let's see what Coach Mayer has in store this time. Slightly different formation this time, in that there's an up back in the formation, as well as two receivers to the left and one to the right. Ryan Batt, after taking that hit on the last series, is back in, and it's a quick pass, but it's overthrown. He's feeling that pressure. Intended receiver was Chris Wright again, out on a little out pattern to the left-hand side.
Yeah,
but
will trick us there with the coverage.
But you can see, if you look at this replay, Batt is very conscious of that pressure from that Nottingham defence. He looks up, and maybe that ball just sailed on him a little bit because he wasn't able to step into the throw. So 2nd and 10, Bullets. This time the ball is handed off, and once again, that defensive line led by Akin Rinade. And they're signalling that that ball may have come out, but there's no signal from the officials, so I do believe that Strickrock has held on to that ball.
Yeah, flying through the line. Offensive line offering virtually nothing, and down he goes.
So 3rd and 11 now for the Bullets.
Nottingham really have done well to contain the running game so far.
You can understand, though, at this point why Coach Scott was so confident on going for that 4th down play in his own territory, when the defence at the moment are just piling up the negative yardage for that UWE offence. And that, George, is the end of the first period.
Well, that was a flyer.
So as the teams change ends, we find the score: University of Nottingham students 7. Our graphic just needs updating there after the extra point was good. University of Nottingham students 7 and the UWE Bullets 0. What's your take on that first quarter then, George?
I think the Bullets did far better than expected on defence. UON, their defence has done what we were expecting it to do, absolutely stuff the opposing offence. So it's perhaps a little surprise on the Nottingham offence, but nothing out of the blue in its early days at the moment. I think Nottingham was set back quite a lot with penalties early on. So,
well, it's hard once you open a game and that initial kickoff went out of bounds, and then, like you say, you have, I think there were 2 penalties on their opening defensive drive for Nottingham. It's hard then to wrestle that momentum back. It may seem to the sort of uninitiated that, okay, different players come on and you can you can actually just turn things around. But as a team, to get that confidence and build momentum, difficult when you get those early penalties.
Yeah, absolutely. And Nottingham will look to take any momentum that they can early on.
And that's going to be a false start against the Bullets, as Pierce Rapanti again made a move towards the line of scrimmage and forced the centre there to double snap the ball almost.
Illegal snap, 59 on the offence, 5-yard penalty, still third down.
And the issue with the pressure that Nottingham is putting on is that the offensive line does get cagey, as does the quarterback. Where's the pressure going to come from? Who's going to hit me? Who have I got to block? And it does pile the pressure on.
So 3rd and a long 15, maybe 16 now on the play. Let's see what Bat can dial up here as he drops back to pass. More time this time, and he does complete the ball, and he's completed it to his receiver,
Yeah,
Chris Wright. And Chris Wright does pick up significant yardage, but will be short of the first down by maybe 3 yards.
Now, I would anticipate the Bullets to go for this, particularly as they've not really moved the ball that much this game.
Now, Ryan Batt, second-year QB, has thrown for 20 TDs this year, so he is accomplishing what he's doing. And I think if Nottingham do give him that time, and he's ball down the seam, and it almost intercepted this time by Andre Tavs.
Now, being on fourth down there as a DB, I'd come off and go, yeah, I meant to do that. I wanted that extra 20 yards.
But unfortunately, by Tav's reaction, you could tell that he didn't intend to do that.
Nah, he's just acting. Just playing for the crowd.
Right decision on 4th and 2 to throw?
I think in the Bullets case, I'd say yes. Typically, I'd run there, but with what the Bullets have done in the running game and how Nottingham have played it, I think they'd end up 5 and 3 in that situation. So I think for what the Bullets have been going for or looking at doing, I think that was the right call for them.
So back to the field and sprinting onto the field. That offensive line had a bit of a workout there to get onto the field. No huddle, straight from the sideline. Daly drops back to pass, looks to his left, and that ball is almost intercepted by Jacob Spindler again. Called his name a few times today.
Yeah, Warren Davis was the intended receiver there.
That ball just sailed on Daly a little bit. He had him. I think he had him there on that slant over the middle, but for whatever reason couldn't keep the ball down.
Yeah, Warren, I think, just gets a hand to it, but not quite enough.
So Daly this year, completion percentage of 45%, 8 TDs to go with 1 interception on the year. 2nd and 10 Nottingham. This time the ball is handed off to Ellis Holgate, and Holgate picks up 5 yards before he's met by that Bullet defence.
Apologise for correcting you here, but it's 45 completions out of 71 attempts.
Oh, apologies.
So actually,
that's well over 50%, isn't it?
A decent percentage
Much better.
rate. Yeah.
My mistake. Sorry for misquoting that, but yeah, well over. In fact, that's not far off 60% completion rate. 8 TDs to that 1 interception. 3rd and a long 5 now for the University of Nottingham as Daly signals not into motion. And this time it's a keeper, and Daly does keep it, and he is brought down just a yard shy from our commentary position of that first down. But this won't surprise you at all that Nottingham will go for this.
The outside containment on the QB keepers actually is pretty good for the Bullets.
Now, from a Bullets perspective, 4th and 1, you've got to be thinking that Nottingham are running this, surely. Although, it looks like a punt formation, but actually it's a fake punt, and that is going to be enough for that first down. As Pierce Rapanti, linebacker, drops into that up back position and just surges ahead for a University of Nottingham first down.
Yeah, big drive there.
You heard us sort of stammer a little bit. We couldn't quite believe that Nottingham would punt in that situation based on the fact they've gone for it on 4th down in their own half before. But
well, from what the defence shows, you'd be fairly confident going on 4th or anything outside of your own 40.
Just obviously a power formation there for the University of Nottingham. As Daly hands the ball off this time. Samuel Igwe with the carry. First time we've called his name this afternoon. Apologies if we haven't quite got the pronunciation correct, but the big man sheds one tackle before he's brought down for a pickup of 3.
A lot of moving parts with the Nottingham offense, trying to draw eyes left, right, and centre.
And obviously, from a coaching perspective, we always talk about the fact that if you can just get one of the defensive pairs of eyes on somewhere where the ball isn't, then you've obviously got an advantage. As Daly drops back, and he has not over the middle, but once again just overthrows him on that post pattern.
A lot of time there. Really, really nice pass protection. Running back steps up there to make the only free man.
Actually, you can see Daly's pretty confident with where he's going with this ball straight away, and he does, and he steps into the pass and just overthrown that time. We mentioned a couple of underthrows in the first quarter, but an overthrow to bring up 3rd and 6.
It looks like Coral of the Bullets is just going for a medical checkup as well. Just walk down the bottom of your screen.
Nice move there by Samuel Igwe on 3rd down, but it brings up another 4th and short. If you're that Bullets defense now, do you here comes Rapante again. Do you really sort of load that line now? Do you just leave maybe one man back and just gamble on that run? Or
I think knowing the University of Nottingham, if you do that, they are likely to have a free runner. And I suspect that's why they've called the timeout.
Timeout. UWE. That's their second of the half.
So, while we've got this timeout, a little bit about the Nottingham outfit. Originally, the Nottingham Outlaws were formed in 1995 by James Fisher and James Naylor as a combined university team with Nottingham Trent University. Outlaws played their first competitive season in 96-97 in the Northern Central Conference under founding coach Justin Smith. It was 2009 when that combined team split into the University of Nottingham Outlaws and the NTU Renegades, with the Outlaws having with the original combined Outlaws team final regular season record of 54, 49 and 1 tie.
Both since that split have been very, very successful. Not the only team to obviously join between the two universities. The ice hockey team, the Mavericks, also play together.
In Nottingham they do, as Rapante once again, big hole up the middle this time, and he stays on his feet inside the 15 to about the 14-yard line on 4th and 1.
Yeah, no flags, and he just absolutely drove through that hole.
So following the rebranding of the sports teams at the university, Phil Wood was hired, and the University of Nottingham students returned to the playoffs before the league restructuring. Last year, an undefeated regular season culminated in a Division 1 Northern semi-final where they narrowly missed out in overtime to Leeds Beckett, who then came up or down to Worcester and narrowly missed out in their final this time last year. So 1st and 10 still, not in motion. This time Daly fakes the pitch to the left, rolls to his right, and he pops the ball over, and he's got Knott, and Knott is in the end zone for a second score of the afternoon. 1 on the ground, this time through the air, which takes the score to University of Nottingham American Football 13, and the UWE students 0. Nice play here.
2 touchdowns, 2 quarters. He'll be happy with his performance so far.
Look at the touch he puts on that ball over that UWE defender there, just enough and right into the arms of Knott. Well executed play. Fake that pitch to the left. A couple of UWE defenders bit on that, giving Daly time to roll to his right and find Knott for the second Nottingham TD of the afternoon.
And that's the advantage of drawing eyes on that.
Now,
on that fake pitch.
sorry George, this time they do keep it, and Knott takes the sweep almost, and he does battle his way into the end zone for the conversion to add 2 to the score. So we now have a 15-point deficit for UWE to overcome. Looks like a bit of slow motion. Nobody follows, not at all. So a bit of slow motion there, cuts back inside one man and hits pay dirt.
Yeah, it was a really nice step just to get enough leverage to get over the line. From here, perhaps we may see those floodgates start to open, which will be a concern. Having said that, with the way that these teams are playing offense at the moment, the clock will keep ticking.
You mentioned about the combination we were talking about, the University of Nottingham. Following Phil Wood's resignation, club hired Tamworth Phoenix defensive coordinator and now the Phoenix head coach Jason Scott, who's leading the team this afternoon. And he, not only being part of that national championship winning team with the Phoenix last year, has led the University of Nottingham students to an undefeated regular season, promotion to the Premier Division, and I know this is important to the guys in green, 3 victories this year over cross-town rivals, the Renegades.
And varsity still to go.
Varsity still to go in the next month or so. As UWE return that ball, Lucas Spindler, linebacker.
Yeah, I mean, last year UON were really a Premiership team that just hadn't quite made it yet. Much in similarity to the Manchester Titans in the senior, now Premier League. Were really playing in the Division 1 and should be in that Premiership, so certainly would compete in that Premiership level.
You really feel now that on this next offensive possession, and that looked like people started moving before the ball was snapped again. Another receiver not watching that ball in, hearing footsteps, and
yeah, absolutely. 88, Douglas Witt with the drop catch.
You feel UWE need to at least maintain a possession here and get a couple of first downs. Realistically, they need a score.
I would think so, just to halt that defense. As the score gets further apart, that defense is going to get more aggressive.
And there's a broken play right there as the snap almost hit the man in motion. Bat managed to pull that ball in, fake the inside handoff, and then, well, literally get nothing on second down.
Looks like he may have just got back to the line there. But as I say, with the scoreline as is, and if it continues this way, that defense is going to get more and more confidence just to go and make a hit on the quarterback.
Heavy rush, and Bat goes down once again. Yeah. Number 99 there.
Troy Glenn that just went straight through the line and finished the play.
Now you do need to fear for this young UWE team. Like you say, it was right from that defensive tackle position. I don't think he was touched. That Nottingham defense will keep fresh. The UWE defense got to suck it up, come back on again.
The clock will keep ticking, nearly halfway through the second quarter.
And all you can do now is hope, with the sun in his eyes, that Edward Carter can at least give the Bullets some breathing room. Oh, and he doesn't. It's sliced off the side of his foot, unfortunately. And that ball trickles out of bounds close to the 40-yard line of the Bullets.
It's going to be inside the Bullets 40. Looks like it's going to be 39 that they're going to spot it on.
You can tell as well, we're on the sideline where closest to the Nottingham students, and the energy levels down there at the minute, you can tell they're smelling blood now. There's blood in the water.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is all they need to start that ferocity that they can bring and that we've seen throughout the year.
So first down, University of Nottingham American football. Bang on the 40-yard line of the Bullets. Daly again, 2 receivers both sides. One running back to his right, and he fakes the handoff. He's got time. He's chased now out of the pocket to his left. Floats the ball over to a wide open receiver.
Yeah, it was number 27, Ellis Holgate there. I mean, Daly looks like a fish in water. He looks so confident behind that line. And actually, it looks like Holgate may have taken a bang to the head.
Hanch there applied the pressure, Jacob Hanch, for the Bullets. But all it did really, applied pressure from Daly's right-hand side, forced Daly to roll to his left, and he lofted a beautiful touch pass there and picked up a first down.
Playing mobile quarterbacks with awareness of the game is very, very difficult. You either try and pressurize them and keep your containment, or just keep your containment and drop into zone, and just send almost a three-man rush every time, and let him try and throw with 8 men covering.
So Daly jogs to the sideline while they attend to the injury. Good to see Holgate back up on his feet and jogging back towards the huddle, but I think obviously due to the fact he received that attention, he needs to come and take his position on the sideline for at least a play. So once again, thanks to EP Sports making today's stream possible. Once again, a reminder, you're looking to upgrade your gear ahead of this season, check out epsports.co.uk, and there's a discount code at the moment. UA Gloves 15 will get you 15% off all Under Armour gloves. Not in motion on first down. Motion to the left, and this time the ball's handed back to the right, where Israel Bolarinwa takes a nice mazy run for a pickup of close to first down yardage.
Yeah, I read the holes really well there before cutting upfield.
As you mentioned earlier, Nott sort of gives the impression that ball may well be going to the left, and then Nottingham hand the ball off. A big, powerful runner.
Daly, and we've said this, we said this in the BUCS final last year, one of those quarterbacks that's very, very good at doing what he should be doing after the handoff, either trying to fake a pass, fake a run, just draws another eye.
Warren Davis in motion this time, and Davis receives the ball, and after stepping a couple of times, is met by the Bullets. So in fact, obviously previously to that play to that play to Warren Davis, there was enough yardage for that first down, which made it first and goal. So it now brings up second and goal. Nott starts split to the right, then comes back across to the left. 2 receivers to the left, 1 to the right for Daly. Daly surveys that Bullets field, and then Nott comes back the other way. Daly this time pitches back to the right. Oh, and that ball's bobbled, and it is put on the ground. And there will be a scramble down there, but I think the lineman first there for Nottingham was Lewis Thomas, who may well have covered that ball up. And actually it's number 82 that comes up with the football, Finley Old.
He'll be grateful for his teammates there.
So Israel Bolarinwa, like you can see, doesn't really ever manage to get control of that pitch. Nott comes to the right, almost his lead blocker. And he actually does get control of it, and when he makes his cut, that ball just pops out of his hands. So Nottingham survive a scare. Brings up third and goal from the Bullets 9-yard line. Daly this time, 3 receivers with Nott out to the left. Warren Davis and Finley Old to the right, and Nott joins them. Low snap, popped out to Davis. Davis on the little receiver screen, heads for the end zone, and is knocked out of bounds short of the pylon.
Yeah, inches short, I think.
So that will bring up fourth down.
And it looks like they're going to go for it, and perhaps with Rapanti coming on, another run for him up the middle.
You wouldn't doubt it, would you? Interestingly, Rapanti, rap artist, lead signing of record label AEG, coming from Delaware, one of the scholarship players, so obviously American credentials there.
Timeout. UWE. That's their third and final charge timeout of the half.
We do know a number of Americans on these rosters, Rapanti being one of them. So Nottingham call that timeout as Coach Scott leaves the huddle after
Boot by.
Finally offering instructions.
They have lined up in that formation.
They have the UWE coaching staff there looking on. I suppose it's got to be with trepidation. 3 scores down, and this one could be done. Ripanti is in that up-back formation. He gets the ball once again on 4th down and piles his way in.
Through.
Remains on his feet to extend that Nottingham score. That'll be 21-0 in favour of the University of Nottingham students. And this game, everybody knew what was coming. Nobody could stop it.
Yeah, I mean, the defensive line for the Bullets just don't seem to have any drive, any energy. The offensive line really just storming straight over them.
So 3:24 left in the first period. It's 21-0 in favour of the men in green. I must say, out of the 2 squads warming up, you could feel a little bit of, I don't want to say, well, a little bit of nervous excitement, nervous tension from the Bullets sideline. Coach Mayer mentioned how there were a few nerves hanging around, and as the University of Nottingham squad line up in that familiar now formation, and then Beams drops back to pop the extra point over. It's up and good.
I mean, for Nottingham, getting through that last round of the playoffs against the Renegades, it got that monkey off their back. Not beating the Renegades, they've done that already this season, but getting that over that final hurdle into the Premiership. And I think that was their key goal this year, was to gain that Premiership promotion.
So with that extra point, score with 3:24 left in the second period is University of Nottingham 22 and the UWE students 0. Big mountain to climb now for those students. So today's game, actually, and both games today, you've got the situation whereby, like you mentioned, the last game that Nottingham did play was against the Renegades, because obviously their semi-final against Edinburgh was unfortunately cancelled due to the weather. And in both games this afternoon, UWE have played that extra semi-final game, as Chris Wright brings the ball back up close to the 20-yard line.
Took that ball in really well, over his shoulder.
So you wonder almost how much an extra week off to sort of tend to bumps and bruises from that Renegades quarter-final.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's going to be a huge factor. Obviously, the Bullets had to play last week against Kent Falcons, and Kent really were the favourites. They'd gone undefeated through the regular season, and I suspect that's taken its toll a little bit on the Bullets.
So time for Ryan Batt and the UWE offense really now to make something happen. And on first down, there's an inside handoff to Strickrock again. He's had 5 100-yard rushing games this season, over 150 yards rushing against the Blitz, the Plymouth Blitz, that is. But nevertheless, a very raw, talented running back from Germany who's very dangerous in the if he gets into the open field. But unfortunately, so far, as Batt
that was a lovely throw there. That was to Wright. Read the open receiver, just drops it in over the Nottingham defence. 2
touchdowns on the current season for Wright. Nicknamed Superstar Chris by his colleagues on the Bullets. So finally, a first down, and the Bullets hopefully are rolling. Oh, sorry, looked like a false start for me, but nothing called as Batt escapes the pressure. And he makes a move on the linebacker and picks up positive yardage for a gain of 3 on first down.
Yeah, a couple of yards forward is better than a couple of yards backwards, which is what he's had to deal with most of today. The Bullets perhaps just starting to find a little bit of momentum.
And he does, he eludes that tackle pretty well. And he's brought down by Connor Ryan for University of Nottingham. Here comes Wright in motion. Brings 2 receivers over to the left-hand side. Strickrock as well flips to Batt's left. And this time, Batt drops back. He's got time again. He's looking to the sideline, and this time the catch is caught but incomplete, out of bounds on the sideline. Douglas Witt Wide receiver.
Yeah, unfortunate there. He'll have been
Time
fairly
out. That's
close.
the 2-minute warning at 1:59. 1:59.
How rude of the official to interrupt you, George. Go for it again.
Oh, I mean, I think we've done it more than once. So, yeah, he was unlucky there not to catch that ball inbounds. Just a little tad overthrown.
So 3rd and 6. Really need to convert again as back drops back, and there's pressure, and it's big pressure, and it's Ripanti and Okolu who converge on the Bullets quarterback, and that has put pay to that offensive drive.
Yeah, Okolo.
Here we go again.
For Okolo, this is actually his first year playing the game. He's London born and bred. So
Time out. Nottingham at 1:43. That's their first of the half.
Interesting. That timeout there shows you the intent of Nottingham to get another score maybe before the half, and really pile that next nail into the Bullet coffin.
I think if they get one more score up, they'll pretty much finish this game off from what we've seen so far. Don't like to call it this early, but...
Well, you never know. I mean, obviously it's the NFL, but not got to think too far back to that Patriots-Falcons Super Bowl. Ball is up and fielded by Laquan Lambert. And Lambert, eludes a very high tackle. No flags there. Looks like he nearly got his head taken off on that return. But Nottingham will take over once again with pretty good field position. Let's have a look at that. Any sense of a penalty here on a steps out of one tackle? Oh no, that's sort of round the waist, maybe slid up to the shoulder pad, but nothing there that concerns the officials.
The way his head yanked, I think a slight perhaps catch on the helmet. Nothing more than that.
So yeah, as I was saying earlier, interestingly, like we said, Nottingham have had a week off last week because of the conditions, and equally later on, Durham have had a week off last week due to the fact that
Durham have played no playoff games.
Okay, right.
They are straight through.
Oh, Daly's got room, and he flips the ball out to his tight end, Max Thera, and Max Thera remains on his feet, and he's dragging men with him, and he's still on his feet.
There is a flag a little ways further down.
And there's also a bullet on his belly at midfield. But what power there from Thura. Oh, my mistake, it looks like Finley Old. Apologies. It's Finley Old. Club president, or the next club president. And Old does nice step around one man. Oh, there's a little block in the back there. I think that's where that one's coming back to. But then the power here. He drags not only one of his own, one of the Bullets with him, but he drags one of his own men too. But I think there was a block in the back there, and you can see the University of Nottingham players marching back, which is unfortunate.
Yeah, huge play there from all. Just strikes the heart more than anything into the defensive backs who have to try and take down such an absolute monster of a man.
Good ball security though on the end of that run by Old.
During the run, illegal block in the back. Number 13 on the offense. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Still results in a first down.
That's Elijah Duran, whose name is called, and still positive yardage, but not.
Huey have elected to start the play on the ready for play.
Yes, as I was saying, still positive yardage for UON, but not nearly the gain that Old did have. But what a monster there. So Old this time lines up in the slot to the right. Two receivers to the left and another receiver joining Old. Laquan Lambert on his right. Daly this time rolls to his right, got a blocker in front of him, pops that ball over to Old again, and Old this time taken down with a good open field tackle by Dan Brandt for the Bullets.
Yeah, Old will be happy to get some of that yardage back.
Tell you what, Elijah Duran there, if you see, he provides the last line of protection there for Daly, and he's a big man, tall tight end there for Daly to throw over, but saw Daly giving him those last little instructions before the play was run, and we've got some more word from the official. Flag on the far side of the field this time, and Nottingham march back again.
Eligible downfield against the offense, number 82. 5-yard penalty, still first down. UE have again elected to start the clock on the ready for play.
So unfortunately for Old, 2 positive yardage plays which aren't going to go on his stats line. 1st and 10 Nottingham, 5 yards further back than where they were. Sorry, 1st and 15 Nottingham, 5 yards further back from where they were originally. After that long old completion. Long old completion. It was a long old completion.
See what you did there.
Thank you very much.
It wasn't very good.
It wasn't. It wasn't intentional. 2 receivers with Knott and Lambert to the right, and he looks this way, and he's looking for Lambert, and Lambert's got a step, and it's a beautiful, no, incomplete pass.
And he was unfortunate there. What a great diving grab.
Look for a moment like there aren't any flags on the play. Ignore that caption at the bottom of our screen, but Daly does look, and Lambert, we thought had it, but unfortunately the ground couldn't hold on to that catch all the way to the ground.
Yeah, the ground playing as a 12th defender there.
Which is kind of good for the game, really, because another score here. Nottingham could get that 2-point conversion and then to be 30 points up by half-time. Demoralising, to say the least, for the Bullets.
And with a touchdown in that fashion, it would have been a huge, huge momentum shift.
So 2nd and 15. Once again, Daly giving instructions to his back. 3 receivers to his right this time, and he's again looking, and there's pressure up the middle this time, but his rolls flushed out to his right, and he's got a man, and he's got Knott, who steps inside, and there is that 4th Nottingham touchdown of the afternoon. And like you say, as much as we don't want to call it, that could well be game over.
And that's 3 touchdowns for Knott already.
So you can see here again, Daly, he is flushed this time, flushed out of the pocket, and that's 92, Olhachi, who flushes him, but then puts a pass downfield, Knott steps inside. Nice catch for his 3rd and Nottingham's 4th touchdown of the afternoon. As has become traditional now, Revel lines up as quarterback, and then that Nottingham special team shift, and Joe Beams comes in again to kick the extra point. There is a stoppage.
Delay a game against the offense. 5-yard penalty. Repeat the try.
So interestingly, a delay of game penalty will it alter Nottingham's decision to kick? I think they're going to line up this time in that traditional extra point formation. So here we go. The extra point is good, which will take the score to the University of Nottingham 29 and the UWE Bullets 0.
Yeah, 23 seconds left on the clock.
Don't honestly think that many... I know Andrew Morgan in pre-game predicted a 2-score win, or a win by 2 scores for Nottingham, but I'm not sure any of our sideline guests, or even us, really expected this big a deficit this early on.
Well, the first quarter finished 7-0. Nottingham put 22 points on in this quarter and really opening the floodgates.
Half time going to ads.
So Nottingham and Beams set to kick off again to what must be a demoralised UWE special teams kick return unit, as the ball just blows off the tee there for Beams and it's reset. 23 seconds left in this first half of our National Trophy Division 1 final. What do you do as Bullets head coach now, George, as that kick sails through the back of the end zone and will be a touchback? 23 seconds left. Are we taking a knee?
Well, I think 23 seconds, you're already down big. I don't think you've got anything to lose, particularly by going for it. They'll start on their own 20. So yeah, why not? Give it a go. 23 seconds.
So first down and way down are the UWE Bullets.
One hit wonder. onside kick.
Hey, you never know, do you?
It happened.
This is why we love the game so much.
Stranger things have happened.
We love this game so much because things can change in an instant, and Ryan Batt looks like the way that those backs are lining up, it was going to be a handoff, and it is a hand. A nice spin by that man again, Strickrock. Timeout called by Nottingham.
Bullets with no timeouts left.
Pickup of 6 on first down by Strickrock.
Timeout, Nottingham. That's their second of the half at 14 seconds remaining.
What's your thinking to that timeout there?
Well, I would say they were trying to get the ball back, but if the Bullets run it twice, then that clock's going to drain out. So perhaps they're just prolonging it.
That's telling, that mindset, University of Nottingham mindset, that they're still trying to get the ball back. 29-0 up.
Just saying, here, have a go, but my defence is going to hit you hard.
Oh, and that ball is thrown out of bounds, unfortunately, as it comes off Jason Scott's foot. Nice little touch there on the sideline.
Yeah, Joe Beams with the catch on the sideline.
So, third down. Pressure again, though. Didn't rush nearly as many as linemen or no linebackers. We saw Ripanti sort of jump in and then drop back out again. 3rd and 4 Bullets. Chris Wright comes in motion to the right-hand side where the space is, and it's man coverage over there. No safeties on that right-hand side. And Batt is putting the ball up, and he's overthrown, and it's nearly picked off by Leo Corney.
That'll go down as a second pass deflection for Corney.
Yes, and it does. And again, cornerback's thinking, well, I don't want to be catching that there.
Yeah.
I want to bat that ball down. 4th down now.
It's a receiver's job to catch the ball.
Absolutely. 4th down now. If I'd have caught that there, then I'd have put my offense in bad field position with 5 seconds left.
Well, not awful field position.
Worse than it is now.
Worse than it is now, yeah.
But this, barring penalties and barring any other exceptional circumstances, should well be the last play of the first half. Oh, it's a high, and
no.
That's a disaster. And that's still out, and it looks like it is recovered by Nottingham. And the University of Nottingham, it doesn't matter whether it's recovered by them or not, that's where Nottingham would take over if there is any time left. And it does appear, though, that the officials are holding their hands up to indicate that that is the half. Just get that official line, and that indeed is our half-time here at Worcester, at Six-Ways Stadium, home of the Worcester Warriors, but today home of the BUCS National Finals, with the score, the University of Nottingham 29 and the UWE Bullets 0. A lot of head-scratching for the Bullets over half-time. We will join you back for the second half. We'll pass down after a short break to Rose with our half-time show.
If you want to keep doublecoverage.com alive and contribute to its ongoing mission to grow the game of American football in the UK, then please go check out patreon.com/DBLcoverage. Become part of the Britball Nation and gain access to exclusive content and rewards by becoming a patron of DC. We want to take our coverage of the British game to a whole new level, but we can only do so with your support. Go to patreon.com/DBL coverage and join us in growing the game of American football in the UK.
I'm Mark Brunell. I'm the quarterback coach here at the Academy. Having a great time. It's been an absolute thrill. Their energy, their passion for the game has been impressive, actually surprising.
The coaches here are really incredible. Like, they're really smart. You know what you're talking about. Like, you think you got everything right, and they'll pick out something that's wrong, and you think, I didn't see that there, but they had the eye for it because they've been there, done it before, and it's really amazing to be part of that.
Coaches are really accommodating, really knowledgeable as well, really good at helping people to get to where they want to.
Yeah, we're seeing some improvement. We're seeing a lot of engagement, a lot of excitement about the game here, and we're really thrilled about the reception we've received.
Okay, so we are back here, and it is 29-0. Guys, what do you make of the first half?
Joe, what about your predictions at the start of the game? Let's start with that.
I feel bad that if I've hurt you in any way by giving that prediction, then it's I'll take full responsibility. But I just think that scholars, American scholars particularly, are making plays for Nottingham, and that is really difficult to overcome when you've got one guy who's on a £500 scholarship a year, you know, and he's not an American, so it's really challenging, I think, to overcome that.
Is Derek Knotts tying up UWE in knots?
That's just terrible. That's just terrible.
I don't know.
But that's the thing. Nottingham's offense has been so variable. They've gone 5 wide and run Pat Daly. They've put the running back in the backfield and run counter. Then they'll air it out to the Americans on the outside. Yeah. There's a lot of things going on, and they've got that max heavy package which they've been running as well, which scored a touchdown. It's converting them 4th downs as well. There's a lot for UE to handle, and they're not coping with it at the moment.
No, they're really not. And I mean, we've got some of the stats here. You've got Nottingham 252 yards. UE have only got 50. I mean, that says a lot, and it's being shown on the game. They're dominating.
What I find amazing is UWE has some massive tackles, right? But they're not getting out of their stances. Nottingham's just using their speed to go right around them. They're disrupting.
There you go.
UWE tackles are not going around, not moving. Nottingham is just have their ends going around outside of him, disrupting the quarterback. He's not getting a chance to set up or do anything.
And Coach Mayer's game plan, from what we've seen, is there's a lot of jet sweep. There's a lot of jet with the running back inside. They're desperately trying to run the ball, and the box for Nottingham is just all over it. They're struggling in their pass pickups as well. In the first quarter, the QB was getting hit a lot, and really their best momentum has been on penalties and moving the ball that way. So it's going to be interesting to see what they come up with in the second half based on what hasn't worked in the first.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, again, another stat, 135 passing yards against UE have only got 32. You know, and I think the issue is that they are getting the ball to them, but they're not catching it.
Yeah.
And that makes a huge difference. You know, that I think there was at least 4 opportunities where UE could have had receivers catching the ball, but they didn't. And I think it's affecting their game.
Yeah, drop passes will kill you. That's going to happen again and again. The thing that's maybe we're not paying attention to, is that on special teams they've had two long snaps for punts over their own punter's head, and that's just going to give you bad field position. I think that UE have really struggled with their field position game so far today. They haven't really made up the field position when they could have done with punting the ball, and they probably could do with giving Nottingham some longer fields to play with at the moment.
Yes.
Well, UWE has actually been gifted a few times when they had, like, there was in the first drive roughing the kicker penalty. Then they had another penalty right off the back of that. They were in Nottingham's half of the field and couldn't do anything with the football. They couldn't take advantage of the turnovers or penalties.
Yeah, I think in that first offensive drive they had 2 penalties, which gave them 2 first downs, and then when they're trying to convert it themselves, they're not getting anywhere. Yeah.
The other thing to think about is that UE have had 2 rather big injuries that have knocked players out of the game. If you're losing starters with injuries and not being able to continue, you're putting those backups in that might not have seen as much game time, might not have as much experience, and that might be affecting your the mental state a little bit. I'm sure Dan Mayer's over there telling those guys, look, it's just football, go out and play like we have been all year. But it's whether or not they can look at that scoreboard and keep their heads up enough, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
And that's the thing. I mean, sorry, Andrew. We were talking about. We were here covering a game in the summer between EKP and London Blitz Youth, where the levels of athletes were quite dissimilar. And EKP in the second half just came out and said, screw it, we're just going to throw the ball," and had a lot of success and managed to catch up. And it'd be nice to see UE say, right, let's attack. Let's see what we can do that way. Let's see if we can bridge the gap and take it to Notts.
Yeah, definitely. And I think 29 points really. It could happen. They could come back, especially if they stop the Nottingham offence. You never know.
Nottingham's game plan obviously is working, right? UWE's isn't. Dan's got to sit back. He's got to say, right, what do we do now, guys?
Yeah.
What do we do now? And we saw him talking there, and he wasn't getting irate. He wasn't getting angry. He was just saying, guys, come on, you're better than this.
Yeah.
Let's step it up.
So from a coaching point of view, what changes would you make at the half, and what would you be saying to your players?
I think for Nottingham, the message is going to be more of the same, keep it going, keep it flowing. But I mean, looking at our season, we had a very similar game against Hertfordshire where we were a few scores down and ended up winning in the last few seconds. So momentum is key. If you can get turnovers, if you can put some scores on the board, start changing the field position, things can just keep rolling when you've got a deficit. But it's going to be interesting to see whether they can start and have a spark in the second half. I think Notts are getting the ball first. So Notts getting the ball first. Can they make a stop? Can they get field position and take it from there?
Yeah.
Fundamentals. It's going to be now. You got to catch the football when it hits you in the hands. Yeah. You got to make your blocks. That's all. That's the big difference. That's what UAE's not doing. They're not catching the football. They're not making their blocks.
Yeah, I think back to basics, and pretty much echoing what Andy said. It's really, really challenging to come out with a bigger 4-score deficit like they have got, and sort of chip away at that a little bit and start to try and build some more momentum. If they don't get some momentum plays in the third quarter, it's going to end up being a bit of a rout, I think, unfortunately for UE.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the teams are coming back and warming up, so fingers crossed for a more exciting second half. Do you guys want to change your score predictions?
Yeah, you still going UE?
I mean, 4 points. So what? That'd need 33 unanswered points in this half.
It's a bold move, Cotton. It could pay off.
Last game of the season. They're holding it back now. Yeah, I think it's going to be really challenging for UE. I don't want to give up on them, but I think if they can put something together, if they can, if they can do something where they're neutralising Pat Daly as a threat, then maybe they can start to put something together. But they must do that in the third quarter, and they must seize the initiative early.
Yeah, definitely.
They got to get a couple of early scores, quick scores.
Yeah. Okay. Brilliant.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, thank you.
If you want to keep doublecoverage.com alive and contribute to its ongoing mission to grow the game of American football in the UK, then please go check out patreon.com/DBLcoverage. Become part of the Britball Nation and gain access to exclusive content and rewards by becoming a patron of DC. We want to take our coverage of the British game to a whole new level, but we can only do so with your support. Go to patreon.com/DBLcoverage and join us in growing the game of American football in the UK.
I'm Mark Brunell. I'm the quarterback coach here at the Academy. Having a great time. It's been an absolute thrill. Their energy, their passion for the game has been impressive, actually surprising.
The coaches here are really incredible. Like, they're really smart. You know what you're talking about. Like, you think you got everything right, and they'll pick out something that's wrong, and you think, I didn't see that there, but they have the eye for it because they've been there, done it before, and it's really amazing to be part of that.
Coaches are really accommodating, really knowledgeable as well, really good at helping people to get to where they want to.
Yeah, we're seeing some improvement. We're seeing a lot of engagement, a lot of excitement about the game here, and we're really thrilled about the reception we've received.
Welcome back to Sixway Stadium, Worcester, for the pinnacle of the British University American football season. You join us just after half-time of the National Trophy, the Division 1 game between the University of Nottingham American football and the UWE Bullets. And George, unfortunately, this one has been a little one-sided so far.
It has so far, but we'll see what happens in the second half. See if the Bullets can bring something, make some half-time adjustments, even if it's just to slow the flood.
So that's very much what the guests at half-time were speaking about to Rose, about trying to stem the tide and just stifle Pat Daly and that Nottingham offence. So far, total yards, wow, I mean, this says it all really. Total yards, UWE 50, Notts 252 yards of total yards of offence in the first half alone. Daly 6 of 11 for 135 yards, whereas Ryan Batt is 3 of 15 for 32 yards. 18 yards on the ground for the Bullets, 117 rushing yards for the University of Nottingham.
One turnover for the University of Nottingham right at the end of the second half, the second quarter.
So the third quarter just about to get underway, and it will be Chris Wright who kicks off, and it's a good kick to start the third period. And University of Nottingham and Pat Daly will take over and start proceedings on their own 20-yard line. 29 points to 0 up.
I think for the Bullets, whilst obviously they'll be looking to try and claw back victory, I think really they'd be happy with just getting a couple scores on the day at this point in time, particularly with the standard of football that Nottingham plays. This will be very much what it's like competing at Premiership level next season.
Well, I mean, we could tell the sort of attitude and the mindset of the Nottingham outfit at the end of that first half, where they were taking timeouts with 23 seconds left to almost get the ball again to score. So I don't think they'll be taking the foot off the gas anytime soon.
No, it looks like they've kept their starting lineup pretty much on the field.
Daly fumbles the snap on first down, manages to retrieve it quickly, rolls to his right and finds an open tight end, and that is number 13. We mentioned him in the first half, Elijah Duran, and he picks up a first down on the first play from scrimmage in the third period.
Yeah, big game and big gain, and didn't really look like there was a lot of coverage over there, just one man.
Quite soft, that DB. Yeah, big cushion.
There was a very big cushion, nearly 10-yard cushion. And it's perhaps the difference between how Nottingham have played compared to the Bullets.
1st and 10, University of Nottingham on their own 34-yard line. Daly again drops back to pass. Bags of time, and he goes upstairs looking for Lambert. And Lambert goes for an acrobatic leap, but it's broken up by number 3, Jacob Spindler, and Spindler stays down.
Yeah, Spindler did well there, actually, to get underneath that ball, but it looks like he's come down hard on his shoulder or his side.
Nice to see Lambert there, just checking. You can see here, look at all the time Daly has on this drop back. Bullets rush 4, but that's contained easily by the UON offensive line, and it looks like Lambert actually lands on Spindler a little bit as well, so not only is the impact with the ground, but then with that receiver landed on top of him, doubles the blow. But it looks like he's back up, jogging off okay. Obviously he'll make his way to the sideline. Bring up 2nd and 10, University of Nottingham.
Yeah, it was a great play to get underneath Lambert there. Lambert really took air.
So we have Lambert, Knott, and Falabi Ajayi on this near side of the field as we look at it from our commentary position. Daly motions Davis across, and that's a jet sweep to Davis, and Davis bounces it outside, and he turns the corner, and he's met initially by Rupert Mevans. Bullet safety. Flag comes out at the end of the play, but that's a good initially, looks like a first down pickup for the University of Nottingham. You usually look at, and we'll wait for the official just before I carry on.
During the run, personal foul, face mask, defense number 56. 15 yards will be added to the end of the run. First down.
Charlie Dring with the linebacker.
I think they were unfortunate not to get a holding call against the offense. It looked like the big D tackle was being held. Got away with it.
I think unfortunately as well, I mean the first half obviously didn't end well, the second half hasn't started well, and there's a penalty there, but actually prior to that UWE only had 10 yards worth of penalties, whereas University of Nottingham had 78 yards of penalties, and that usually can be a factor in the success of a team.
I mean 15 yards of that was unsportsmanlike after a touchdown that they tacked onto the kickoff.
Davis in motion to the right. Daly rolls to his right, and it looks like he's tucking. No, he pulls the ball back out, looking for Davis, but unfortunately throws that one too far out of bounds, and it will bring up 2nd down.
Yeah, I mean, I think really he did the right thing there. Nowhere really to run, just get that ball. He attempted to get it to Davies there, but just really looking to get that ball out of bounds.
You can see Davis comes in that motion, drops in between the two receivers on the right-hand side, and Daly immediately takes off. At one point, it looked like he was going to tuck and run, but then he elects to try and seek out his receiver on the outside there.
Playing with a flood concept there with that passing route. Drifting everyone across to the right-hand side.
Interestingly, taking the field here nearest to us, number 3, a guy you've coached for the last couple of years, up at the Nottingham Caesars Juniors.
Yeah, Ballant Molnar.
Comes into the game at receiver, and the ball is given this time to the right, and there's a flag comes out as that play develops. And that's Ajayi who takes the handoff.
That will likely be a holding call with the position of the flag.
Here you can see Ajayi lines up in that slot position. Comes inside, takes the ball from Daly.
Holding, offense number 72. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. Still 2nd down.
Indeed, correct call from my co-commentator. Holding indeed, which will march the University of Nottingham back.
Put them at around 2nd and 20.
Daly this time motions Ajayi back to this side and fakes that jet sweep, and Daly takes it himself, and he's got some real estate out to the right, and he puts his head down, runs through that cornerback and picks up close to first down yardage. Slow to get up, Daly, this time, as he took a bit of a heavy fall. 2 yards short of a first down. He's still laying on his back, and now the officials stop the clock, whistle for some attention for Daly.
Looks like it's abdominals that his O-line was signifying.
So fake the jet sweep to the left, which completely tricks our cameraman. And Daly then takes off. Oh, and again, the tackling player, Robert Colwell, completely wrong team. Tackling player Ulhachi drops and lands on Daly at the end of that play.
Yeah, it's a big player to have land on you too. Running that sweep to the weak side of the field, or the short side of the field, really beneficial there. Opened up oceans of space for Daly to break into, and really took advantage of it once he got round the edge.
Just a reminder at this point, in this breaking play, as Daly remains prone on his back, and there'll be some concern as the Nottingham sideline has gone significantly quiet.
Not just for Nottingham.
For Tamworth as well.
But he is up on his feet, and he'll come out for a play, I suspect.
As we'd like to do, we'd like you guys to join in with our production this afternoon if you can. Get in touch using Twitter. Use that hashtag Unibowl. Get in touch with us on social media. We'll try and read out some of your tweets if we can. Let us know where you are, whether you're enjoying the game, who you're rooting for, where you're watching from. It'd be great to hear from you this afternoon. So this time, new quarterback for a play, and that is blown up in the backfield. Fantastic penetration. Charlie Dring that time. That looked like it was going to be a reverse, but it never got a chance to develop as Dring, from his outside linebacker position, completely read that and blew up Ajayi before he could get the ball flipped back to his receiver. Untouched. It did look as though he was trying to get that ball back to run the other way on that reverse. So, fourth down that brings up. Daly obviously remains out of the game, but as he may well do on fourth down anyway. And James Revel is in at quarterback. We're getting very familiar with this Nottingham special teams formation. Here comes Nott. He scored on an extra point with this last time, and not this time, as Revel drops back and he's got a man, and that ball is caught. And it's caught for first down yardage, and I think there might well be a flag there. That's Eric Anthony, defensive back for the University of Nottingham, who hauls that one in and picks up a first down for the University.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to let the afters go.
Frustrating times. You've got them pinned, you've knocked the quarterback out of the game for at least temporarily, and yet then a defensive back comes up with a big fourth down conversion. First down, University of Nottingham. On the 20-yard line, just outside the red zone, in fact. Oh, and there's some confusion here as number 22 comes onto the field late. Alex Sowerby, instructed to come on, I think, by Coach Scott, but then mistimed, and Nottingham are forced to burn a timeout. Once again, get involved. Hashtag Unibowl. Hit us up on Twitter.
Timeout. Nottingham, that's their first of the half at 8-2-3.
Thank you, sir. We'd love you to get involved with us. Let us know what you're doing on this first day of British summertime. Hope the adjustments of the clock didn't scupper you too much. We had a bit of an issue with our cameraman this morning on our pickup from Nottingham.
Love it.
George and I on our trip down from Nottingham, our sort of becoming an annual road trip now down here to Worcester for the British Universities finals, and also for the the British Senior game, the BAFA Community Leagues finals as well, and we're waiting at our meeting point nice and early, and our cameraman's nowhere to be seen, but thankfully now he's up in position, able to bring you these pictures. So first down, Nottingham, as Tunde Pratt takes the ball and he takes it to the left side, waltzes through the entire Bullets defence, and he goes in for another Nottingham score, their 5th touchdown of the afternoon. This could get ugly, if it's not ugly already. So you see Pratt standing in for Daly, takes this designed QB run and goes untouched 20 yards for his first, Nottingham's 5th touchdown of the afternoon. At what point in this situation, George, if you are on the Bullet sideline, at what point do you kind of, I hate to say it, but give up? I don't think you ever give up, but how hard is this?
I mean, it's a tough position to be in, but I think it gives them a taste of what the Premiership's like. You're in a final situation. I think you just got to give it everything you've got, you know. Don't get me wrong, it's a big scoreline to try and overturn or even make look semi-pretty, but I think they've got to give it everything.
Offside against the defence. Penalty is declined. The try is good.
So that extra point is good, and you heard from our official that there was an offside against the Bullets, but that's been declined. So we've just been informed that I think due to the score and the deficit and the difference in score, we've altered to a running clock for this game. Just talk us through, George. Why do we switch to that?
Well, it's on the mercy rule. Some people argue for it. Some people argue against it. It's a difficult one. I mean, what can you say about it? It is what it is. It's in place to perhaps slow the points, safety factors usually, with one team absolutely dominating another. It's usually a sign that one's far more physical.
And there's sorry to interrupt you, there's a second kickoff of the afternoon from Beams that goes out of bounds. Put yourself in Coach Scott's situation now. We've got 8 minutes left. I know we've gone running clock, but we've got 8 minutes left in this third period, as we'll hear once again from our official about that illegal procedure penalty.
Illegal procedure, free kick out of bounds on the kicking team. 5-yard penalty from the end of the kick. First down.
So if you are Coach Scott of the University of Nottingham, you're 36-0 ahead, still in the third quarter. Do you keep piling on the points? Do you kind of play more conservative? Because there's that balance between making sure you win still, and obviously from what we've seen so far, the Bullets will be, you know, high underdogs to come back in this one. But at what point do you almost show respect?
It's difficult. You know, we've seen what Tamworth have done in the past, points-wise, and obviously Coach Scott heavily linked with Tamworth, and they're well known at times for piling on the points. And he'll be making a statement to the Premiership for next year. Look who we are. This is who we are. This is what we're going to do to you. It'd be interesting to see if he does rep more of his seconds and third strings through. But as of yet, not to see it.
Leo Corney there with the tackle on Chris Wright, but there was a flag at the end of the play, and it looks like it's going to be against the defence.
Delay a game against the defence, preventing the offensive player to get back to his huddle. 5-yard penalty, the down counts, second down.
So it was a big loss on the play of about 5 yards, and we know it was about 5 yards because it was a 5-yard penalty for that delay of game by the defence, and it still remains, well, it should be, I would have thought, 2nd and 10, because obviously the down counted. There we go, and the chains move. So obviously a loss of 7 because it is 2nd and 12 right now. Bat drops back. He puts a long ball up, but he overthrows his man by 6-7 yards on that one. Trying to get that one to William Hatfield down the left sideline.
Yeah, Corney and Will Field really had that well covered. I think it was better that he overthrew it than than put it anywhere near that receiver that time.
Desperation stuff now, and you've got to feel for Coach Mayer and the UWE Bullets. Like you say, after having had such a fantastic season and indeed beating the Kent Falcons last week as underdogs, as you stated, and then to come and really just be outgunned really by this University of Nottingham team. 3rd and 12 on the play. Bat drops back to pass again. He's got pressure and he's going to be taken down. And he is taken down by that man again, Troy Glenn.
He's got a couple tackles, and actually that looks like Bat down on the floor holding his lower leg.
It does look like he was twisted to the ground rather, I'm afraid. And the way that the official has signalled on the medics straight away, and that's how a referee signalled on the medics, that could be bad news for the second-year QB. Let's have a look.
We've already had Scott Bendel go down. It's been confirmed he's got a dislocated knee.
We wish Scott all the very best. And it does look like there on the replay that Ryan Bat gets twisted down, and he looks like he's in considerable discomfort there on his back, head in hands. But I think as a player, you know when they're once again addressing the knee area. I think you know as an individual when you've done something that's more significant than you can run off. So this breaking play once again gives us the opportunity to thank all the people that make this stream possible. Joe and his team up at EP Sports. EP Sports stock that largest range of American football kits and equipment in the UK, and all their staff are players who have experience in the game. Played the highest levels in Europe, some of the guys, so when you're talking to them about your kit, you know exactly that they know what they're talking about. If you're looking to upgrade your gear ahead of this summer season, check out epsports.co.uk and use that discount code UAGloves15 to receive a 15% discount on all Under Armour gloves. Don't forget ScoreStream as well. ScoreStream. We've got them updating this game, as we will have the next Premiership final game and all the games all summer long. Stay up to date with ScoreStream across the Britborn nation. ScoreStream is the world leader in coverage of American football, from youth to professional, all across the globe. ScoreStream allows fans to score games, post photos and videos, and chat with other fans in real time while those games are going on. Each week, ScoreStream covers roughly 10,000 games across the planet. So make sure you check out scorestream.com or download the app to stay up to speed with all things football this Britborn nation. Unfortunate to see that George Ryan Bat being carried off, which will bring a new quarterback to the fold.
Be likely James Nichol, who steps up at quarterback. Number 4 for the Bullets.
But it is 4th down anyway, so we'll wait to see that next Bullets quarterback on their ensuing drive. As we see Bat just down below is being taken to the locker room for further assessment. 2 unfortunate injuries. As the ball is snapped straight through the UAE punter again, and this time he's taken down, and that could be, is he going to be tackled? The official says he's been tackled outside of the end zone, so that won't end up being a safety. But probably even worse, it's going to be 1st and goal Nottingham on the Bullets 3-yard line.
Yeah, that's the 3rd time that's happened this afternoon.
Yeah, just unfortunately, I mean, it's easy for us to comment on here, but bread and butter stuff, getting the ball from the centre to the punter. Poor old Dan Carter. Ed Carter. Dan Carter's probably still in New Zealand, reflecting upon his All Blacks rugby career.
Pat Daly back on the field.
which is more bad news for the Bullets. Good news for Nottingham, but poor old Ed Carter didn't have a chance there to get that ball away. Daly gives the ball up the middle, and Alex Sowerby this time is met immediately and stopped, taken back for a significant loss, although there is a flag on the play again. .334 yards now of total offence for the University of Nottingham. 43 yards of total offence through nearly 3 quarters of play.
7 yards less than they had at half time.
Personal foul, chop block against the offence, number 68 and 63. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. First down.
So there's another penalty against the University of Nottingham, and that would take them over 100 yards of penalties this afternoon.
Yeah, I mean, it's ill discipline, but let's face it, it's not really going to cost them this game, I wouldn't think.
184 rushing yards.
Certainly, if you allow this sort of yardage in the Premiership, though, the likes of Sterling, Durham will punish you for it.
So first and goal from the Bullets' 18-yard line. Daly with Davis in motion, and that whistle is blown dead before we even start, and it looks like being a false start penalty against Nottingham.
False start. Offence number 72. 5-yard penalty. First down.
The penalty yards continue to rack up.
It'll be on number 22, the running back Sowerby.
I wonder what the furthest first and goal distance have ever been in a game.
I saw it on Madden, right?
No, I'm talking about a game.
99 yards.
First and goal from your own 1 yard line.
Yeah, no, have you not seen the video? You should watch the video.
I'm talking real football. As Davis comes in motion again on first down. Daly takes a snap, looks to his right, swings the ball out to Sowerby, who drops the ball, and then they're going to class that as a forward pass or a lateral. It looks like it's
went forward.
I think the same, and the official on the far sideline signals an incomplete pass.
Other sporting console games are available.
You can see there just a little dump off, swing pass to the right, can't be handled, gathered in by Sowerby, which will bring up second and goal from the 23. 184 yards of rushing.
It's incredible.
I tell you what, the games we've done down here, you tend to find it's a field where there is, whether that's the team, whether it's just a field that's conducive to rushing.
It's a quick flowing field. It's if you run on it, it's very springy. It's very easy to turn on it. I think it certainly aids the running game. It's not like playing on a muddy field. Nottingham looked like 22 there. Lucas Spindler with that pass deflection, nearly a pick. Nottingham used to a 4G surface anyway. They've got a good surface at the university. Their crosstown rivals, the Renegades, often play
in mud
in what is a quagmire at times. And it's at times a difficult surface to get used to if you're not used to playing on this sort of thing.
So with the score being this way at the moment, 1:50 left in the third period, running clock upon us, maybe get a chance to chat about a few other things in the British game. Oh, and that's going to be a penalty. And there comes the flag. It's a free play then for Daly, and Daly looks to his left and he pops the ball up into the end zone, and that's aimed for Lambert, but Lambert can't come down with it. But we know it was going to be a free play, as unfortunately Dan Brandt came flying up from his safety position and couldn't slam the anchors on quick enough.
Offside against the defence. 5 penalty. Still third down.
So, third down and goal, as the Baffer signage below us takes a right battering from the wind, and Mr. Hewitt et al. Won't be pleased about that if that's ended up being damaged. But third and goal for Daly and the University of Nottingham. From the 18-yard line, Daly drops back to pass. Not a great deal of a rush coming and aiming for Knott, but that ball is underthrown over the middle of the field and Knott cannot gather it in.
Yeah, unlucky there not to get a fourth touchdown for the day.
4th and 20 upcoming. 4th and goal, in fact, from about the 18. So George, kind of thinking about other things in the British game. Our Great Britain Lions are headed out to Finland at the end of July for the IFAF European Championship. And as much as I hate to say it, this game's becoming really scrappy now. And I think that indeed is the end of the third quarter. And with that running clock, you know, the significance of play now is all but done, I'm afraid, in this one.
Yeah, we'll see if the University of Nottingham do decide to rep some more of their second and third strings through. But from what we've seen so far from Coach Scott, it's not looking likely. Pat Daly is still out on the field.
So as I was saying, the GB Lions head to Finland for the IFAF European Championship, 28th of July to the 5th of August this year. GB Lions are the 6th seed going out there, but in the same group of France and Finland. So some challenging times ahead, but that British programme seems to be making strides.
Yeah, I mean, one of the bigger GB programs making strides is the women's team that had a phenomenal performance out in Canada.
So just as we also had our first tweets of the afternoon, just see somebody watching out there in Florida. Good to see you. Another viewer in Glasgow. Keep those tweets coming in. Good to know that you're on that stream with us as the stands actually begin to fill up for our Premiership final later on. Daly goes to the end zone, and that is hauled in, but that might be. They're giving that as a score, and that's Lambert. Must have got 1 foot into the back of the end zone. And that is the answer to whether or not the University of Nottingham are going to take their foot off the gas or not. Or will that sign the end of the starters as Daly to Lambert puts Nottingham over 40 points for the afternoon. So Daly drops back, no, all sorts of time, no pressure at all, and Lambert leaps and does manage to get 1 foot right in that back corner of the end zone.
So we're playing with college rules. All they need is 1 foot in.
Daly there. Nice afternoon for him again, sporting a rather monstrous beard today as well, as the special teams and Joe Beams line up for the next extra point of the afternoon. And that extra point goes over and not absolutely annihilates one of the rushers off the edge. Slams him into next week, and not only is not making a statement, but the University of Nottingham now, with 10:45 left and the clock running in the fourth quarter, have an unassailable lead of 43-0.
Yeah, I mean, Nottingham really on another level this afternoon.
And I say, somebody like Coach Scott, as much as he'll be happy with this win, he'll look at these stats at the end of it and see 113 penalty yards. And as you mentioned, he'll know that's something that he's got to clear up. He's got to clean that up when he hits Premiership football next year, because that will be punished. Now it does look as though they may well be repping in some second stringers, as we've got Sammy Herzl, number 88, about to kick off for the University of Nottingham. Chris Wright back, and that ball is chipped up. It's a nice kick actually, as Wright fields it at his 20. And he gets out to about the 23 before he drops to the ground to avoid Max Leeson laying a body blow on him.
So see what the Bullets can do. Number 4 will be coming out, James Nichol, as the quarterback.
So, interesting to see as well on that Nottingham defence whether many of the starters are remaining there now. Already, that man Ripanti isn't on the field. So I can see number 10 there with his helmet off on the sideline, standing next to Coach Scott.
Yeah, Leo Corney's still out there.
Let's see what James Nichol and this UWE offense can do from a pride perspective. That's a nice play on first down, and Strickrock breaks it to the right, and he breaks it and he runs out of bounds just short of the 45-yard line for the most explosive play of the Bullets' final afternoon.
Yeah, we were told if he can get into open field, he can make moves.
So first down just shy of midfield. Well, 9 yards shy of midfield. Nichols hands the ball off again to Strickrock, and he finds that seam and rushes for another first down, but there's a flag there, and that could be in the position of holding from where that was thrown from. But again, Strickrock, like you say, maybe turned up to the party a little late, but nevertheless showing his versatility.
Yeah, I mean, you've still got a fairly strong defensive line on there. It's not like they've completely changed. You've still got...
Holding by the offence, number 69, 10-yard penalty, still first down.
You've still got a Colo that's been punishing the offensive line all day out there, so he's starting to show what he can do, but like you say, perhaps turning up a little late.
But I think, I mean, to be fair, and unfortunately all Strickrock's good work has been undone there as that ball is marched back 10 yards. I think, unfortunately, it's not necessarily Strickrock that hasn't turned up, it's that Nottingham defensive line that dominated early on.
Yeah, absolutely, and they really did dominate. They just straight through the offensive line virtually every single play.
So this time Wright goes out to the right, and he will lose 2 more yards on 1st and 20.
Yeah, difficult on a jet sweep if you can't get round that edge to make anything, and it often results in a loss.
Second and 23 as Wright comes in motion again, and Nichols gives it to Wright on that jet sweep once again, and Wright does manage to make positive yardage, but only maybe 3 or 4, which will bring up third and 18, you've got to say.
Interesting that they rang that sweep again, particularly with the ineffectiveness of it on the previous play.
And what, if anything, do the Bullets take out of this? How do the Bullets sort of bounce back from this as Nichols looks for his man over the middle of the field and oh, sorry to ask you a question and talk all over you. William Hatfield had a chance to make the grab, but you've got to be thinking he knew there were a couple of safeties there about to squash him. So yeah, you've got to look, number one, for the positives, and unfortunately with only about 50 yards of total offence, there aren't many positives on offence.
I think the defence managed to slow Nottingham down in the last 20. In the last 20 yards of the field. Didn't shut them out, but certainly slowed that offence down. So that's always positive. They've contained Pat Daly within reason. He's had a couple big runs.
It's a nice punt.
But not to the same effect that we perhaps thought he might have.
Oh, and that's a live ball, and it's picked up. Oh, and that just, sorry to interrupt you, George, that just completely sums up the Bullets' day.
Yeah. Yeah, it really does.
Fumbled initially by Dan McGee. Fumbled initially by Dan McGee for the University of Nottingham, and it looked for all the world like Dan Brandt was going to be able to drop on that ball and get a turnover and some good field position for the Bullets. But then
actually James Miller that pushed that ball back upfield.
Oh dear. Now let's see, have a look at this offence. Who's coming out on offence? I can see Knott in the huddle still. I can see Lambert on the field still. But this time I can see a different quarterback, and it's that man, Tunde Pratt, who scored at the end of the first half. Last period rather. Scored in the third period in relief of Daly. And he's going to be taking the snaps from here on in, as he takes the ball himself on a very similar play to the one he scored on. And he takes the ball up close to first down yardage with 4:33 left in the game.
So with that rolling clock, are they going to get another score in?
I think it's nice to see from Coach Scott's perspective as your man Balint Molnar comes in at number 3. From his perspective, it's nice to see. And I think that may well be those starters all being clapped off and taken out, as that man number 75 that I mentioned in the first half, club captain Robert Stone, is clapped off by his coach, Coach Brittle. It's nice to see that these second string players are getting a bit of a look in, as Ajayi bounces off to the left hand side, and he's brought down through an arm tackle, and it's a real good strong arm tackle by Ed Carter, number 31.
I think for the Bullets, going back to what we said earlier, positive-wise, the defence hasn't been atrocious. They've just not been at the same physical level. We've seen good plays. That was a great tackle there by Carter. Dring has made some nice plays off the edge. So it's there's certainly positives to take away.
Oh, and slightly overthrown. I know Ballant's nickname at the juniors was Speed, but I don't think he's necessarily got that much speed, as the ball's overthrown by about 10 yards by Pratt.
Yeah, he's a big physical receiver.
So Pat Daly's finishing stats for the day: 8 from 18, 167 yards and 3 TDs, no interceptions. And obviously he's had some on the rushing yardage to boot as well.
Yeah, good game for him.
35 yards on the ground rushing as well. As James Revel comes in motion, and Pratt once again takes the ball himself, and he does look like a useful dual threat quarterback as he ballet dances down the sideline and goes out of bounds right on, if not a half a yard short of first down yardage.
Yeah, unfortunate there. He only just grazed the turf, that white stripe, I think.
You can see he's a very jinking style runner, got the ability to make players miss, dropping his shoulder and then moving out the other way. 3rd and a short yard for Pratt as we come to the 2-minute warning.
That's the 2-minute warning at 2 minutes precisely. Please change the game clock to 2 minutes. 2 minutes, please.
So George, obviously this one's way in the books. We've got coming up at 4 o'clock this afternoon, which is still 2 hours away. Usually we get a bit of a more tight turnaround than that. We've got the Durham Saints against the Derby Braves. What do you think we can expect from that one?
It'd be interesting. Derby weren't really expected to be in that situation.
As your man Molnar makes his first reception of the game and picks up a first down. Nice little play from Pratt to Molnar. That'll give him some confidence. I bet it makes you proud as well. I can see a wry smile on your face there.
Yeah, he's a reliable receiver. Bigger bodied receiver in general.
I know, having worked with him a little bit as well. He's a really lovely lad as well. Good work ethic.
Yeah, he's a nice guy.
So yeah, timeout there from the Bullets.
Timeout. Huey, that's the first of the half at 1-2-4. 1-2-4 remains.
So again, didn't want to necessarily interrupt, but with Speed catching the ball there, thought that might be a case in point. Anyway, Durham and Derby.
Durham and Derby. Derby, I don't think were expected to be here. They went into the Christmas break 0-4, which for them to be where they are today is phenomenal. They had a turnaround, a change around at head coach, and Durham were always going to challenge for this position, and they've gone out and done what they needed to do. The playoffs, I mean, the playoffs are the playoffs. You've had snow on the ground. They haven't had to play any playoff games. It is what it is. I think realistically they'd probably still be in this situation anyway, with the style of football they've played this year. So
Wellington T there with the carry for Nottingham, but there's a flag on the ground and the boys in green are marching themselves back so they know what's coming.
I think likely it's going to be a Durham victory if I'm giving you an early prediction. However,
holding, offense number 79, 10 yards from the spot of the foul. Play, first down.
Having said that, Derby have become a little bit renowned perhaps as being giant slayers, seeing off the Lions and Stirling, last year's winners, on the way down to Worcester, as it were.
The interesting thing, like I mentioned this in the pre-game show, very much like the junior game, the university game, the squads change year on year because of the turnover of players, so it's hard to sustain any real success, as that's a fantastic run up the middle and negates all that penalty yardage, gets his way up to the 26-yard line. And there's my man again.
No, it's Ellis Holgate with the run.
Ellis Holgate shows real speed and power. Yeah, so in a way for Sterling, number one for Sterling to get to to the position they did, and for Durham to get to the position they did year after year, shows good consistency. And like you say, teams can come out of nowhere very much like the Bullets have done, and Derby since Christmas.
Yeah, I mean the Bullets Falcon game, I think that was a real surprise of Div 1 that the Falcons didn't win that going into that 10-0.
As Nottingham run again, and the ball is handed off to the left. And it's Israel Bola-Rinoir takes the ball inside the 10-yard line. And that, ladies and gentlemen, will be that. Well, in what was really decided at half-time, we have our final score here of the UWE Bullets 0 and the University of Nottingham American Football 43.
Yeah, that was really a killing.
Timeout. Nottingham, that's their second at the half. Please set the game clock to 7 seconds. 7 seconds. The clock will start on the referee's signal. The game clock will start on the referee's signal.
And there you go. Coach Scott got absolutely drenched for a first down.
And you can't underplay really Coach Scott's contribution and his caliber. He's been out at Mississippi State in coaching and had experience there. As Pratt takes a knee for the final time, and now we can confirm that this year's National Trophy Div 1 winners are the University of Nottingham American Football team. Fantastic scenes down there on the field, well deserved. And we will join you a little bit later on. Check he's got it on.
Yeah, I mean, we've got some of the stats here. You've got Nottingham's total yards, 372 against UE 70. 300 yards more.
Yeah,
it says a lot.
They just weren't able to, what they put together in their game plan with the inside run game, with the jet sweep, they kept coming back to it, and they weren't really able to bring anything else in. And it's like Phil said, when the backup quarterback came into the game, that just took away a number of players that they were able to run as well, and they had to become more basic from it. They just weren't able to get anything going on offense. Nottingham's defense was just too strong on the day.
Yeah, definitely, and I think it just goes to show that if you've got an offense that's going to dominate, you're pretty much sorted.
Yeah, I think so. And if you look forward to get a little bit to next year, the thing that's concerning maybe for Nottingham might be that they're losing Patrick Daly to sort of finish his degree really and finishing his postgrad. But from what we saw from Tunde in that last drive, they've still got some football players that can step up and make some plays there. I know that Jason Scott's going to be looking at how to use his scholarships effectively in the future and whether or not he can offer those out to more British players. So I think that's something that he's very interested in doing. But I think that they're going to have maybe a year a bit like Leeds have had this year, and be able to go up and stay up again, which is a very, very difficult thing to do in the Prem.
And it's creating an arms race in the Premiership now, especially in the North. The North is such a powerhouse of a division. You've got Durham with all of their potential, Derby with theirs. Now you have Nottingham, and it's going to be tough. I mean, Loughborough found that out this year that it's hard to compete when you don't have those kinds of scholarships, and it's going to be fun to see what happens next year for it.
Yeah, no scholars almost equals no wins. I know that Loughborough were able to sneak one in against Derby, who we'll be seeing in a couple of hours. But it's really, really difficult, I think, to compete in the Premiership without having those athletes.
Yeah, definitely.
Is it about the scholar? Is it about the athletes that they're recruiting, or is it about the money that they're using to get these students in?
Yeah, it's a bit of both, because you've got to convince these athletes to come to university. I mean, Durham obviously is a great place. Nottingham has its own history in terms of its academics as well. But when you're able to play sport and get covered for it as well, and have all of those benefits, it's a no-brainer. So it raises everybody around them. And you look at the team. Nottingham have got a massive squad, and they're going to benefit from the experience and the know-how of all these guys who have got more playing time. So it's going to benefit the whole program going forward into the next year.
And a big change in coaching staff as well. Jason Scott coming on board as a new head of that program after the departure of Phil Wood was something that was interesting when it happened, and I thought it would be a big change for Nottingham. He brought a lot of Tamworth Phoenix defensive players to be on that defensive staff, and you can see that in the speed, the accuracy of their play in how they're playing today.
I think that again was probably the biggest difference in the game today, was the ability of the Nottingham. Everyone speaks about the offense, but the ability of the defense to disrupt the execution at Bristol, regardless of which quarterback was in there.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think we are just going to cut to an ad, and then the guys will be interviewing, hopefully, some of the head coaches.
If you want to keep doublecoverage.com alive and contribute to its ongoing mission to grow the game of American football in the UK, then please go check out patreon.com/DBLcoverage. Become part of the Britball Nation and gain access to exclusive content and rewards by becoming a patron of DC. We want to take our coverage of the British game to a whole new level, but we can only do so with your support. Go to patreon.com/DBLcoverage and join us in growing the game of American football in the UK.
I'm Mark Brunell. I'm the quarterback coach here at the Academy. Having a great time. It's been an absolute thrill. Their energy, their passion for the game has been impressive, actually surprising.
The coaches here are really, really incredible. Like, they're really smart. You know what you're talking about. Like, you think you got everything right, and they'll pick out something that's wrong, and you think, I didn't see that there, but they have the eye for it because they've been there, done it before, and it's really amazing to be part of that.
coaches are really accommodating, really knowledgeable as well, really good at helping people to get to where they want to.
Yeah, we're seeing some improvement. We're seeing a lot of engagement, a lot of excitement about the game here, and we're really thrilled about the reception we've received.
So, George, 43-0 in favour of the University of Nottingham. Incredible.
Yeah, I mean, I think we were predicting a fairly high scoreline. For them to go get a big fat 0 on the board as well is a real bonus for their defence. Nottingham will certainly be stoked about that. The Bullets, they're going to have things to work on for next season, certainly.
We mentioned in commentary about the fact that the University of Nottingham were dominant on offence, dominant on defence, but those penalty yards, they'll be a concern for Coach Scott going into the Premiership season next year.
Yeah, absolutely. There'll be a real big penalty concern, as we said in comms. The likes of the Lions, Stirling, Durham, who they're all likely to play next season. They will mop the floor with them, given that opportunity.
And as we can see and just hear just behind us, the University of Nottingham students are making their way now, collecting their winners' medals of that Division 1 title, soon to raise the trophy aloft. What will it mean for not only the University of Nottingham, but American football in Nottingham? Obviously, it's where we're from, but what will it mean for the American football in that region?
I think for the university sides, typically they've been fairly successful anyway. NTU, it wasn't long ago that they were in a Division 1 final, losing out to Swansea. Nottingham, obviously they've been a fairly strong contender. Obviously we've got the Caesars, the likes of, who in the past have been very successful, making the playoffs last year as well, and the juniors, which made the plate final. I think for the city of Nottingham, we're doing pretty well. To say we're one of the, not a large city, but one of the medium-sized cities compared to London and the likes of Birmingham and things like that.
Now, in our wrap-up programme with Rose, I heard them mentioning about the fact that Pat Daly won't be playing for Nottingham next year due to the fact he's finishing his courses. Looked to have a pretty useful replacement in Pratt. Showed some glitz with his feet, completed only a couple of balls, but obviously came in late. Do you think that without Daly, given what Nottingham have shown today, they can remain competitive? Because we know from the past when teams have gone up to that Premiership level, it's really hard for them to sustain that.
Yeah, I mean, Daly's obviously a huge asset to the club, to the team. It's likely that they've probably got somebody else that they know of in the wings as well as Pratt. Pratt did really well in that fourth quarter there. The defence is a real building block for them. They've got a solid defence. There's players coming through. I know they've got a few American scholars as well. They're usually on a 1-year contract, but perhaps they might be here for 2. And Jason Scott leading it all up. I think they've got a real opportunity to certainly build. You know, whether they get into this stadium next year, who knows? It's anyone's guess. But I think they've got a real strong opportunity for sure.
So, what way we like to wrap sort of things up? MVPs. It's only unofficial when we do it.
It is always unofficial. It's been a difficult one. I think Daly's had a good game, certainly. A few guys on the defence, Akolo breaking through. Rapanti certainly. I would give it to Mr. Knott.
Absolutely.
Three touchdowns. Real asset, made plays.
Dominant
and that block at the end on that PAT attempt.
That just put a sort of exclamation point on the victory itself.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, all being well, we're going to be able to bring you some interviews with either one or both of the coaches shortly. But as you can sort of see behind, University of Nottingham still with the large squad that they have, still collecting their winners' medals. Looking forward a little bit then, we started talking about it in the commentary booth, looking forward to the Derby and the Durham game. You mentioned about Durham, you would think, being favourites. Okay. What have Derby got to do then to overturn that underdog tag this afternoon?
Well, Derby have this underdog tag, but like I say, on the way here, they've beaten the Lions in the quarterfinals and Stirling in the semis. So we know the competitive and the turnaround after the Christmas break, the winter break. They've done really, really well for themselves. Durham, obviously, a very, very solid contender. They'll come out here much in the way that University of Nottingham have a very strong physical team. But Derby have got the likes of Troy, who is the Falcons quarterback, and Taylor Brown. They've got some very, very solid players, and they'll make them work, and hopefully we see a much closer game.
So back to this one just briefly, as we hear and we can see just over our shoulders the trophy being raised, and the cheers go up from the men in green, as Knott is the man responsible for lifting that trophy. And you can hear the cheers and what it means to those young men over behind us.
The field really has bled green today, hasn't it?
So just as a recap, we thought early on with that opening kickoff, and Joe Beams put that kick out of bounds, we wondered whether or not the writing was on the wall then for maybe an early UWE attack.
Yeah, I mean, from 7 points in the first quarter to 43, 4 quarters later, it's a big way to show we are coming. Premiership, look out.
And I think the real difference from me, particularly from that commentary position, was, like you say, the fact that UWE offensive line was a little over or undersized and therefore overmatched.
Yeah, I mean, University of Nottingham's offensive line themselves are very skillful, very, very good at what they do. You've had the likes of Okola, as I've previously mentioned. He's a rookie to the sport, but he's a big body to try and shift, and he uses his speed, and various other guys, Rapantic, flying through from a linebacker spot. I think they ran a defense that worked well for them, physical, aggressive. I'm not quite sure the Bullets quite knew who they were supposed to be picking up at times. So we'll just see what they can do. They've got a summer off now to breathe and see what they can do in that Premiership.
Indeed. So that was the first course of our football doubleheader this afternoon from Six Ways here in Worcester. The University of Nottingham students have run out quite comprehensive victories, really, in a 43-0 decision over the UWE Bullets. We will be back for the main event in the not too distant future. Join us then when we will be live for the Premiership final, when the Derby Braves take on the Durham Saints.